Morning, it's about strengthening alliances.
This is a high-stakes trip to Europe in which President Biden will be watched closely and assessed on how he manages to unite the G7 and NATO partners and rebuilds alliances that have frayed in recent years.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Meantime, the president reportedly plans to announce a plan to buy 500 million more doses of COVID vaccine to share with the world. It wasn't about the photo op. That's the conclusion in a new government report that says President Trump's picture at a historic D.C. church was not the reason protesters were forcibly cleared from a park near the White House.
The Interior Department's Inspector General says U.S. Park Police removed crowds protesting the death of George Floyd so that a contractor could get started installing new fencing. About 30 minutes after police used pepper pellets and flashbangs. Then President Trump walked across Lafayette Park to deliver a short speech in front of St. John's Church while holding a Bible. The watchdog report found the clearing of the park was justified, but that law enforcement agencies failed to communicate adequately with each other and did not give sufficient warnings to protesters.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland at the White House. A Trump-era rule that narrowed the types of waterways qualifying for federal protection is now formally under review. The Biden administration filing legal action. The former president said the rules imposed unnecessary burdens on business. America is listening to Fox News. A state of emergency in Arizona over 2 wildfires.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, June 16, 2021. A lot of people ask about the introduction to this show. I didn't create the introduction to this show. The music, it is the work of the Truth Frequency Radio Network. But the audio clips you hear at the beginning of the show, and you notice they played at the top of the hour. You hear the different voices from Martin Luther King Jr. to Terrence McKenna, number of audio cut-ups in there. I gave Chris Geo, who runs the network, some clips from history that I thought would be interesting to put. And I thought it was cool. I put it together with the music, and, you know, electronic music's not exactly my favorite cup of tea, but I still like the introduction anyway with the way they put it all together. I thought it was well done, but no, I did not do it. I'm not that creative. And anyhow, it's June 16th, 2021. Heat grips Western U.S. is CNN's top story right now, and it's just comical. It's just so funny looking at the news when you know Gematria, again, the cipher that Manly P. Hall put out in his Secret Teachings of All Ages and tells the reader to investigate and look more into. In the cipher he teaches, A is 1 up to Z is 26, but also using the rules of numerology. So instead of Z, the 26th letter being worth 26, it would be 2 plus 6 is 8. Because the numerology of 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8, so Z is 8. Y, the 25th letter, the numerology is 2 plus 5 is 7, so Y is 7. X, the 24th letter, is 2 plus 4 is 6, so X is 6, and XXX is 666, which is interesting. But in that same cipher, the word heat, H is the 8th letter. E is the 5th, A is the 1st, T is the 20th, so you do the numerology of 20. So 2 plus 0 is 2, so T is 2. So you have 8 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2. Heat is 16. And on the 16th, CNN, heat grips Western U.S. Again, when you know Gematria, you just see how they focus the narratives by the date. I mean, this could have been the story 2 weeks ago. We had record heat. But again, you just pay attention. Gematria, it tells the story of the headlines every day. And just to make a point, big news, Benjamin Netanyahu removed from office on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Remember, he just bombed Gaza starting May 10th of last month, 201 days after his birthday. 201's the number of the Jesuits. As we've been explaining, the Jesuits, the Catholic Church, control Israel. It's as clear as day when you know Gematria. But not only that, from Netanyahu's birthday to June 13th, the day he was replaced by Naftali Bennett, that was 235 days after his birthday, and Naftali Bennett equals 235 in Gematria. Just so simple. Just running the alphabetic order in reverse. Again, that's why from doing this research over the years, it's so clear to see that the system that the New World Order uses every day is the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. Improbable coincidences every single day. All the 201s, just how, I mean, for the person out there who's mathematically challenged, realize you're using 4 ciphers, right? Alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. How many days are in a year? 365, so very close to 400. So, with 4 ciphers and almost 400 days to cover, that means you have about a 1 in 100 chance of one of those numbers in the cipher lining up the way it did. About a 1% chance, right? Naftali Bennett, 235 days after Netanyahu's birthday. And then again, on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, where we've been talking about 201 nonstop in relation to the bombing of Gaza, which equals 73 in the days leading up to Israel's 73rd birthday, which is so important because Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism, died on 7-3 in history, and his name's 73, and David Ben-Gurion, 73, who declared Israel a nation on May 14th, 14/5, like David Ben-Gurion's also 145 in that base cipher system, and Catholics 145, and again 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than the Protestant Old Testament. And again, what are the odds of all of this being encoded in the language so well, so perfectly? You know, we started with 1%, then we hit you with more 1% odds or less. Again, all of this stuff is astronomical. That's why you don't see anybody in the world, like look at all these scientists and mathematicians who make fun of flat earthers, right? And they're making all this money making fun of flat earthers because they have a knowledge base to debunk flat earth that the majority of people will take seriously. I know the flat earthers won't, but the point I'm making is you don't see this same community trying to take on Gematria. You don't. Because they would get destroyed. I mean, these are mathematical improbabilities. They know that. They just rather ignore this because they don't want to think about the world being controlled. They want to live in their bubble where there's, no conspiracies and government's looking out for them, and that's why they pay taxes. And again, it's just these weak-minded people that wouldn't dare go against their comfortable worldview. Anyhow, these types of rituals day after day, and from Naftali Bennett's birthday to the day he was put in was 80 days. Bennett is 80, so is Bavarian Illuminati, which was established with the 13 families by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. He becomes the 13th prime minister of Israel, this nation that is the work of the New World Order, which included the world wars that were done by the numbers, building up to Israel by the numbers, building up to where we are today by the numbers, from coronavirus to 9/11 and beyond. But look at this. Again, just to show new boss, same as the old boss, look at this. Israel just began bombing Gaza over a report of incendiary balloons coming into their territory. And notice, incendiary balloons in Gematria is 84 and 105. Zionism is 84 and 105. And remember, May 10th, 10/5, that's what the bombing of Gaza began first. The airstrikes against Gaza by Israel, May 10th. That was 201 days after Netanyahu's birthday, who's then replaced on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. But then incendiary balloons with the 84-105 Gematria, just like Zionism. Keep in mind, Jesuits 84, Masonry 84. You know the long list of 84s. Oh, by the way, the day that this bombing happened was the anniversary of Israel and the Vatican establishing diplomatic relations, which makes sense because it's the day leaving 199 days left in the year, the 46th prime, and Holy See, or Vatican City's 46, like Catholic. You know that list as well. But look at this. With regards to the 84 piece, the new prime minister, his birthday is March 25th, the 84th day of the year. And from his birthday to the attack, 84 days. 84 days. And again, Jesuit is 84. The Jesuit Order is 201. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, born on the 84 birth numerology. His birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. Ignatius of Loyola, 201, died 84 days from his birthday, the founder of the Jesuits. So on and so forth, these same numerical patterns. So here, the guy takes office on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, and then 84 days, on his 84th day of his age, having a birthday on the 84th day of the year, we're bombing Gaza again. And we're saying these are all Jesuit rituals. The Jesuits consider themselves a military order. They claim to operate in 112 nations. Again, Jesuit 84, Zionism 84, Masonry 84. You think about this nation, United States of America 84. We just had the death of the Superior General at age 84, the leader of the Jesuits, Superior General 84. Again, when you write out the Catholic Church, it's also 84. And what is it? Is it the Jesuit? Yeah, the Jesuit Order, also 84, as well as 201. So again, how these numbers come together, 84 and 201. Just another clear example in a military act by a secret society that clearly has a lot to do with our language and our calendar, which makes so much sense. The language credited to a Catholic monk, the calendar credited to a Catholic pope, all at the end of the 16th century. And again, as you guys know, I'm no flat earther, but to me, the best argument for flat earth is through Gematria. And this doesn't prove that the Earth's flat, but it could tell you this is around the time that the mathematics and all the agreed-to understanding of what we call space, pretty much it is from that moment in history. But remember, heliocentrism. If you write out heliocentrism, which also came at the end of the 16th century, it's also 201, just like the Jesuit Order. Big number with them. And again, you just got to say, what are the odds of all of that? What are the odds? And you know, you think about like the moon landing on the 201st day of the year. Neil Alden Armstrong, his full name is 201. So all roads lead to Rome. Area 51. Rome is 51. Moon 51. Conspiracy 51. Federal 51. Where the federal government was once Rome on the Potomac. You know, we used to be on a lunar calendar. Then the Romans brought in the solar calendar. So, anyhow, new boss, same as the old boss, same old rituals. Consider this attack came on a Wednesday. Wednesday, military, Israel, Zion, kill. They're all 44. So is Netanyahu. Remember his 44 seconds of silence at the United Nations? They said it was a message to number 44 at the time, Obama, who's got an 8-4 birthday. The divisors of 44 sum to 84. Obama, number 44 with the 8-4 birthday. Winner of the 56th presidential election, the big Jesuit number, the Society of Jesus number, the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, the same thing. So you got that. And then yesterday on June 15th, 15/6, like 156, just days before the 156-year anniversary of the first Juneteenth, which was June 19th, 1865 in Galveston, Texas. Just days shy of the 156-year anniversary. On 15/6. You see how it happens? They passed a federal holiday for Juneteenth. And remember, last year on Juneteenth, the Albert Pike statue came down. The only Confederate war general who was a big Freemason, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. His statue came down on June 19th. And then 201 days later, the Capitol was invaded by the Confederate flag. And remember, Confederate equals 201 in Gematria. And Lincoln wrote June 8th, 1864, the letter about there never would have been a civil war without the sinister influence of the Jesuits. So, another perfect ritual in time. Remember, 911 is the 156th prime number. 911 is the 156th prime. You flip 911 around, 119, Civil War's 119. And George Floyd's 119. The Albert Pike statue was taken down in the George Floyd protests. So, but all by design, all ritual. And just for more ritual, remember, Donald Trump, Jesuit educated at Fordham, Joe Biden from Jesuit Scranton, where they ran The Office for 201 episodes that shows the Jesuit prep school's flag in each episode. And again, there's so much more to that. But the Arizona audit, Arizona 84 like Jesuit, Arizona also 42 like Jesuit and the word birthday. On Donald Trump's 75th birthday, the Arizona auditor hand recount ends. And that was seen as a big accomplishment. They got the QAnon 201 in Jewish Gematria. Clear federal psyop that the sheep can't see through. And it's funny how those same sheep still think that they're in the right. It's just like, how can you think you're in the right? Trust the plan, trust the federal government. You think you're awake? Because they're like the most asleep people there ever was. And just like I predicted, eventually they would all label as QAnon. Thank God they've stopped doing it for the short term. Google. Remember Google, head by Sundar Pichai, whose name's 201. But Google for a while was labeling my content QAnon as I speak out against QAnon all the time. But again, just another big joke here that Arizona recount finishes on Trump's birthday. 2.1 million votes in 21. And that was 223 days after the election, the 48th prime. Donald Trump is 48. He could become the 48th president. It would take Biden not finishing his term. Fox News is now calling Biden the half-termer. And the partial termer. So just remember, all these news stations are all part of the predictive programming. They're all in on it, appealing to different, people who are caught up in the matrix. These people in the matrix like this opinion, this news coverage, this people caught up in this part of the matrix like this over here. Again, but all these networks are part of the same thing. But if Biden doesn't finish and Kamala becomes number 47, Trump could run in the 60th presidential election, which will be the next, and become 48. And that's not out of the question. Donald Trump is 48 in the most pure cipher, 60 in the reverse. This story, 223 days after the election, the 48th prime. Pretty interesting. So there is that. If you heard about the shooting in Atlanta just before their big comeback win over the 76ers on Monday, there was a mask dispute that led to a deadly shooting at a grocery store. Again, we heard all these details a few times now. And again, they're just trying to breed this cultural divide, get people to invest on a side, hate one side more than the other. But anyway, they said it was at a Big Bear grocery store, a fight over a mask that led to a shooting in Georgia. In Gematria, Big Bears 44, shooting 44, Georgia 44, mask 44. All those 44. A year ago, we were talking about at the start of June on the 44 date numerology, how they were, starting to pass all the mask laws. And at the time, the news was saying how everything had been over-exaggerated for the last 3 months. It wasn't quite as deadly as we thought, but now we're going to wear masks all summer. Remember, that's what they were doing to us at the beginning of June last year. And they did that with the number 44 as well. Now, a year later, we got mask shootings at Big Bear grocery stores in Georgia, 44 land. And don't forget, Georgia's the 4th state in order of statehood either. Okay, the CDC really hyping this new Delta variant. CNN had a headline up today, "How afraid should you be of the Delta variant?" And I was like, or maybe it was, "How worried should you be?" I think that's what it was. How worried should you be about the Delta variant? And the answer is not at all. It doesn't do any good to worry. If you're truly worried, eat better, exercise more, get more sleep, and you'll probably be good. And anyway, this was CNN's top headline yesterday with the Delta variant, with the vaccines all over the screen, right? So what's the real message here? Scary variant. Have you not got your vaccine yet? But then what's funny is if you take the time to read the article, which most people don't, they just look at the headline and the picture, and that's about as much information as they take in. But if you read the article, it talks about how the Delta variant could make the vaccines that are out not that helpful. But consider, CNN had this as front page news yesterday for most of the day, date with 42 numerology, vaccine, Jesuit, Delta, all 42. All the vaccine stuff with 42. Remember, the vaccine went live December 8th on Bill Gates' 42nd day of his age. The man who had his first birthday on Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday, exactly 42 weeks after Elvis's birthday, where Elvis got the polio vaccine on live TV the same day. Vaccine 42. Elvis would go on to die at 42. But, again, just the same old stuff. CNN emphasized that variant of concern in their headline, which equals 79. Again, if you're not watching the live stream on YouTube, I'm showing you the news source I'm looking at. CNN's headline about the COVID Delta strain, they emphasize the phrase variant of concern, which equals 79 like Society of Jesus, reminding that the pandemic was declared March 11th, 2020. Anthony Fauci's 79th day of being 79 years old. Anthony Fauci, whose name equals the same thing as coronavirus and COVID vaccine, and who's been the face of so much of this. Who at first said we shouldn't wear the mask, so then we should, and then we should wear 2 masks and maybe 3 masks. You know, the latest science. And then just also, again, Biden boasting about these 500 million Pfizer vaccines we're giving to the world for free, which means we, the taxpayers, are putting money in the pockets of Pfizer for their rushed-out vaccine that 500 million more people in the world can get. But again, just that number, 500 million. What's on the Georgia Guidestones, what they call to bring the population down to. What's in the TV show Utopia, where the billionaires that want to depopulate the world with a virus and vaccine, they want to get the Earth's population down to 500 million. That's the number they say that existed on the Earth before the discovery of fossil fuels, which has allowed many more people to live because of all of the excess production and so many things, including food, thanks to fossil fuels. But 500 million taxpayer paid for Pfizer vaccines. And also in the news, Djokovic won the French Open. We said at the beginning of the year, could Djokovic sweep the Grand Slams this year and get to 21, surpassing Federer and Nadal? This tournament began 8 days after his birthday, the 19th prime, and he got his 19th major win in this. And the gentleman he beat it in the championship, it said that 5 minutes before the match, the gentleman who he defeated, he was notified that his grandmother had just died. And what was strange about that is the championship match was on a 60-date numerology, and it was 60 days from the tennis player's birthday as well on the 60-date numerology, and his name in Gematria equals 60, just like grandmother. So, again, doesn't this seem beyond coincidence? So often these sports championships, the coincidental deaths again and again in all of the world of sports. And again, you know, Gematria wins another future. We thought Djokovic had a great shot at this French Open where everyone favored Nadal. But again, 19-8, just like at the Kentucky Derby. We liked Medina Spirit in the first race. Post 8, 19 horses, 19 the 8th prime. Baffert won the race 19 years earlier. His jockey, the only jockey coming into the race with 200 races under his belt for the season. And also this year, again, just understanding this stuff, you guys, at the Belmont Stakes this year, the horse that won, Essential Quality, the favorite, that was that jockey's 666th race of the season. New York equals 666 in Sumerian Gematria. Last time we did the Belmont Stakes, we talked about how the jockey who won also had the big 666 ritual. Again, you pay attention to this simple knowledge. You see how they apply it in news and sports, how dark and demented it is. And keep in mind also, this was on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, you know. Saying the Jesuits are running it all. This was in Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits. And also, the porn star who died, Dakota Sky, she was shamed in the news, making it seem like she was a junkie and she overdosed. And recently she'd done a publicity stunt posing nude in front of a George Floyd memorial in California. Well, when I heard that, I noticed from the day that she posed with her top up, she lifted her shirt in front of the sign is what she did. So she flashed the camera essentially. But May 3rd was the day she did that. And from 5/3 to the day she died, June 9th, 38 days. And remember, George Floyd died on 38th Street. And in Gematria, Minnesota, death, murder, killing, RIP, they all equal 38. And again, just these same patterns. Death, in 38, over and over and over. So this looks more like a humiliation ritual. And again, I mean, evil people control the world of entertainment. You take money from these people, you might end up being, you know, the next one to draw the short stick and essentially become part of one of their sick ritualistic jokes. So wanted to cover those headlines. There's even more we could talk about, but we're coming up on the commercial break. And let's let the first caller get in here before we go to commercial and come back with Rambo. Michigan? Michigan, hello. All right, let's go out to California.
Hello, Zach.
How you doing?
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
Is this Young Decoder?
Just graduated. Yes, it is.
Young Decoder, another. Wow, you just graduated. Congratulations. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Glad that you remember. Yeah, so I'm excited to go to college, although I'm nervous how this vaccine requirement is going to pan out. My college is requiring it, but they have to get FDA approval first, and I have no idea when they're going to get fully FDA approved. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that the drug isn't even, or that the vaccine isn't even fully FDA approved.
Right.
And it's been a cause for a lot of tension and anxiety, especially my brother brings up. It's like we'd go over to people's houses and even ask them if they've been vaccinated or mention about how he'd have arm pain or whatever from the vaccine. So I'm just asking, like, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I wouldn't get the vaccine for anything, and that's why it's so unfortunate for all you young people. Like, if you want to do something as simple as go to college, it might be a requirement. But yeah, I just don't think I don't think it's a wise choice in light of all the predictive programming and the way this is being crammed down our throats. I don't think it. I wouldn't do it if I was you. But you're your own man now, and you're a smart guy. You'll make the right decisions. But honestly, if I was in your shoe and I wanted to be educated and get on with my life, I would. If there's something you're passionate about, maybe just get a specialty type of program, focus on that, and go out and start your own way. Because at this day and age, with all the online opportunities, it's not that hard to start your own business at lower costs than it was traditionally. So, again, if I was a young person, there's no way, even if I wanted to go to college, I would do it. I don't trust it at all. And even if it does get the approval from the FDA, who cares? I mean, I don't trust the FDA one bit. So...
Right. Well, yeah, I don't want it anyways. And even if it were fully FDA approved, I wouldn't want it. But the thing is that the college can only require it when it's fully FDA approved. You can't require that somebody gets a vaccine or any treatment or drug that isn't fully FDA approved. And another reason why I'm skeptical of this thing, Zach, I think you should check out, I don't know if you've looked at the site, but it's COVID charts CNN forgot. I don't know if you've heard of Tom Woods, but he's made a lot of, or if you look at Ian Miller on Twitter, they've made a lot of COVID charts with curves of different states and different restrictions, and they basically proved that none of the restrictions did anything. It was more geographical.
Here, pause real quick. It's commercial. We'll be right back.
Okay.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Hey folks, guess what the #1 phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea! We love this tea! Time after time, week after week, we love this tea! Life Change Tea gives you more energy. a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly, the tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled Beardh, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We got Young Decoder on the line. For those of you not familiar with Young Decoder, he's been calling in for years now. If I'm not mistaken, he started calling in when he was 14 years old, and he just graduated, and now he lives in this crazy world that he's probably had a pretty good idea about. He's been one of the brighter minds in this community, another young, brilliant person who caught on a long time ago. But now, look, he wants to go to college, and the school he wants to go to requires the vaccine. Over the break, the chat weighed in and said, if you want to go to college, either find a school that doesn't require the vaccine or see if you can have an exemption for religious reasons. Somebody said in California you should be covered if your religion prevents you from taking vaccines. So let's let Young Decoder finish his thought, and then we'll get on to Rambo. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it might be too late to switch colleges, but I'll try and get the religious exemption. I'll see what I can do with that. I don't know how that's going to work exactly, and they're still flushing out the details. My college, I don't even know how exactly it's going to be implemented. So I'm just I guess waiting to see what's going to happen. But let me resume with the charts. So you should check them out. Ian Miller on Twitter, COVID charts, CNN Forgot, Tom Woods. They've all been talking about the COVID charts and how these masks and social distancing measures have done nothing. And if you actually look at the CDC study, the best evidence they got is that mask mandates reduce the growth rate of cases by like 1%, which I don't think is enough to justify everyone wearing a mask and to say, oh, it's basically like guilty until proven innocent. You have to wear a mask, no matter what, instead of saying, oh, well, maybe actually prove that you're sick, maybe actually prove that you have symptoms and test this person before you require them to wear a mask. But the masks don't even work anyways, at least the surgical ones, because it's probably being spread via aerosols. And knowing that makes me skeptical of these vaccines, because the scientific establishment has been saying, oh, masks are good, and then that turned out bad, and they said, oh, COVID didn't come from a lab, which anyone with a brain should have known that it came from a lab all along. Then now they're saying, yeah, it probably did come from a lab, and they're saying, oh, these vaccines are so effective. But then, they still had the mask mandate on until June 15th, and then you still have to wear a mask if you're unvaccinated and if you're in an Uber or whatever in California. So I'm just really skeptical of the full thing, but the problem is that I live in California, which is a prison state, and my parents are, and a lot of people I know are just buying into the propaganda, and there's a lot of
just to remind you,
pressure.
when you graduate from high school, you do have the right as a young person to tell your parents you're ready to move on from the nest and you can go reestablish yourself somewhere else. So I mean, and I have, again, as a young intelligent person, don't doubt yourself. You'll be able to accomplish the things you need to, but I mean that's an option too. You don't have to stay at home with mom and dad anymore. So don't forget that.
Right. And the other thing is I am skeptical of the vaccine, and I wouldn't want to take it, but I just don't know if it's really as bad as people are going to say it is. I don't really know if there's any proof. I mean, I don't want it, and I don't think I need it, especially for my age group. But I don't know if this is going to be a whole nothing burger again, because a lot of people were freaking out at the beginning about COVID, and I'm like, I don't think it's a big deal at all. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Indeed. I think you'll make the right choice ultimately, but it's really good to hear from you, and congratulations on graduating. That's awesome.
Thank you. And now that it's summer break, I think I'll try and make some decodes soon. I'm just wondering, Zach, if you could do some, I know that you did some decodes on the sports, but if you could do some decodes teaching people what to look for, because I know that in some of my decodes I went wrong in some places, or if you could maybe analyze some other people's decodes and see, oh, this is where this person went wrong in the past, or some of your own past ones that you got wrong.
Sure.
I think that could be a great learning experience.
I'll do that, because there are some criticisms I have of other people in the community that I think are going too deep and getting too many ciphers, and so okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And sentences as well. Like, I remember there was just one more thing before I go. I made a comment about why I thought the Chiefs were going to win Super Bowl 54. And then the dude's like, oh, no, San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl champions equals this. And then he was doing full sentences. And it's like,
no, you were right. Yeah, the Chiefs were right on.
You can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Chiefs were right on. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll let Rambo go on. Looking forward to what he has to say. But thank you to everyone who's supported me and everyone calling in. And thank you for taking my call.
Of course. And again, enjoy your summer break. You earned it. Really, truly enjoy this time of your life, because someday you'll be my age and you'll be like, man, I want to be that age again. That was such a good time. So congratulations, buddy. You have a good night.
Yeah. Well, besides all the crap going on, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a bad time, but you still always make the best out of a bad situation, and you are a good age to be. So you'll do well, man.
For sure.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, young decoder. His voice is way deeper. Let's go out to Rambo. Speaking of deep voices, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thanks, as I always am at this time of each week.
I'm glad that you stay enthused, Rambo, because we look forward to your work every week, so I can't wait to get into it here.
Thanks. Also, as far as what young decoder said, as far as so far the side effects don't seem that bad. When you do tests to approve any medication, a vaccine or any other medication, trial period that at an absolute minimum is 3 years. That's because side effects will show up within 3 years. I mean, if the vaccine pretty much just came out, the time period within, from now to when it just came out is not long enough to determine if it's safe. It has to be even after 3 years, side effects will show up. There have been medications that have been withdrawn even after they went through a 5-year trial period or more. But even after that approval, they still ended up showing negative side effects that had to be withdrawn. So you can't know in this short a period of time whether or not a vaccine is safe. You have to wait at a bare minimum 3 years. And the vaccine haven't even been approved yet. They're still in an experimental stage. They're seeking approval. So I just want to clear that up as far as the vaccine. Yeah, you wouldn't know if they can appear safe. You don't know what's going to happen next year or in 2 years or in 3. Trial periods always are at a bare minimum 3, if not 10. Some trial periods are more than 10 years. That's how long it takes for side effects. How do you know if you're infertile? You won't know that until you actually want to have children. So I just want to clear that up as far as why it may seem like they're harmless. If anyone's thinking, they're harmless, well, you can't know if they're harmless yet. It's just way too early. And it's an experimental phase. And it's also a human rights violation to use humans as guinea pigs if they don't consent. And that's the situation people are in. It's experimental. I want to clear that up.
Great information. Thanks, Rainbow.
Yeah. So the safety is completely unproven. There's no basis to justify saying they're safe. Absolutely none by medical standards. So I was going to do part 3 on my asphyxiation ritual series, but something came up. You can't really plan for 3 weeks, part 1, part 2, part 3, because something comes up. So I'll have to put that off, the part 2 of the asphyxiation series. I was going to go into with Soundgarden and the Jesus imagery, how Jesus is related to the asphyxiation, but I'll do that for later because today I want to do the title is The Long Association Between June 12th and the Heart. Christian Eriksen and Loving versus Virginia. That's the title. So the talk of the sports world is a story that actually transcends sports. It is the collapse due to apparent cardiac arrest of Danish football/soccer star Christian Eriksen during a game at the European Championship Finals on Saturday, June 12th, 2021. What stands out to those who analyze the patterns of major world events is the association, yet again, of the heart and the date June 12th. This event also ties into decodes that I did in the recent past, specifically addressing the ritual significance of the heart. The spring equinox has always been and still is a prime time of the year for major spiritual ritual. Spring being a time of regeneration and renewal and the return of the sun. It's a time of immense energy. This is a high time for ritual. Allegories going back millennia have been based on religious, spiritual allegories have been based on the resurrected sun. But this is a high time for ritual, so that's why a lot of that was going on this spring especially. So the Christian Eriksen cardiac arrest also ties it's related to this. Think of the name Christian and rising sun, a resurrected sun. So one of many related rituals this year in 2021 was the Suez Canal crisis, where the Ever Given container vessel ran aground, wreaking havoc on international commercial traffic. The Suez Canal runs through the top of the Sinai Peninsula And the Sinai Peninsula is shaped like a human heart, and that association is confirmed with Gematria. Sinai, heart, triple overlap in the base ciphers. The Suez Canal being a major trade and commercial artery, the Ever Given was literally blocking a coronary artery. As I mentioned in my article, on the Sinai Peninsula, heart, sits the world's most sacred mountain, holy to the Abrahamic religions, Mount Sinai. In a direct line to the west of Mount Sinai, direct to the minute. To the minute, I mean, degrees are divided by 60 minutes. So when I say to the minute, I mean in terms of the fraction of a degree. So on the 28th parallel and the 32nd minute, Mount Sinai is in a direct line with the city of Orlando, Florida, which is home to Pulse nightclub. Pulse is a heart reference. So again, the Sinai Peninsula, which is shaped like a heart, Sinai and heart match up in Gematria. Mount Sinai directly across is Orlando, where you have the pulse, so the heart and pulse association. They're directly in line with each other, which I talked about this in previous decos. Maybe some people missed it or forgot, but there was the heart association there, and significantly here is the date of the Pulse nightclub shooting, which was June 12th. So here we see an earlier example of association between the date of June 12th and the heart. Another thing I didn't put it in the article, but I was going to mention as far as June 12th being associated with the heart was, well, June 12th is the birthday of David Rockefeller. And it is said that he received either 6 heart transplants or 7. Now, there are a lot of people who debunk that, and yes, it does seem unlikely. It's such a traumatic invasive surgery that somebody could survive that many surgeries. But if you Google how many heart surgeries did David Rockefeller have, Google will tell you right on top, the big headline, 6. So David Rockefeller, whether it's true or not, is associated with heart transplants. And his birthday is June 12th. So David Rockefeller is another example of the association between June 12th, that date, and the heart. Also, the shooter at Pulse nightclub was Omar Martin. He's a Scorpio, and he represents Mars. The canal incident with the Ever Given happened during Aries. Aries is also ruled by Mars. So I brought this up before, but there's the Mars-Moon connection, because Sinai is called the Mountain of the Moons, S-I-N, and Sinai is Sin, the Sumerian moon god. So Sinai represents the moon, and then you'll see a lot of that. Like I said last time, and even here Omar Martin, he's Scorpio, and that's Mars. Remember, it said Evergreen on the ship. Evergreen is Hillary Clinton's Secret Service code name. Hillary Clinton's a Scorpio, ruled by Mars. So this is a Mars-Moon connection that is ongoing as well. Remember, you were asking when is the next Mars-Moon conjunction. And then I asked Bobby Simpson. He said it was June 13th. That was right after this. So this is almost, not quite, but it's almost the Mars. So Mars-Moon is still in effect. It's always going to be significant. The moon used to be the next frontier. After the moon was conquered, Mars is the next frontier. So that Moon-Mars thing is you will continue to see this. So and after the Orlando shooting on June 12th, 6/12, 612 days after that was the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting on Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day is associated with love and the heart symbol. And this is 612 days later. So there's another association with 612 and the heart.
And remember, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, who the high school is named after, she's from Minneapolis, the 612 area code, and in Sumerian Gematria, Valentine 612. There's a big pattern with that 612. Google censored my post on all the 612s and shootings from my Free to Find Truth blog. There's some posts that they took down. There used to be a long list of 612s. It's funny how they singled out that post. I think it was too convincing. So.
Yeah, but yeah, when you just watch the patterns, even if you're not sure why, it's clearly that some numbers are significant. Like so, 612. I can't 100% nail down what we might never be able to figure it out because they have a deep esoteric knowledge that tells them the significance of these numbers. We may never know. We may never have that, but we can know. We can by watching patterns, we can say yes, this is a significant number. And we see what it's associated with. It's associated with the heart. And we talk about Minneapolis too, how it's association, ritual association. How it's the Mississippi runs through that, and the Mississippi is a metaphor for the Nile, and But also at the north of the Suez Canal, the twin cities, Port Fouad and Port Said. They're twin cities. So yeah, that's another the ritual theme that we can observe, and sort of it was Valentine's Day that Stoneman Douglas happened. Now, love and the heart are also associated with the planet and goddess Venus, the Roman goddess of love. The planet Venus rules the zodiac signs of Libra and Taurus. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, she died officially in Taurus, May 14th. The shooter Nicholas Cruz is a Libra. So Cruz represents Venus. So there's a lot of Venus coding here on Valentine's Day. Venus, the goddess of love. That's a clear theme there. The high school is named after Marjorie Stoneman. Yeah, was it? Right. So so Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's death date, May 14th, is written 5:14. Look at the official time of the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting and ending.
Well, look at the first of all,
the nightclub.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I just see that they say 202. I mean, June 12th leaves 202 days left in the year, and Skull and Bones is 202, and it's also George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday, Mr. Skull and Bones himself. But okay, wow, 202 to 514. Okay.
Oh yeah, those are great connections as well. The Skull and Bones and George W. Bush, absolutely.
Remember the recent remember the recent 322 shooting at the grocery store? They said the last body was identified at 2:02 a.m. and again, that's what is it? 3:22 in the morning is the 202nd man of the day. But 322 is the number Skull and Bones really identifies by. But on that 322 shooting in Colorado, they said the last body identified at 2:02. And again, you're talking about a shooting here, just that connection as well.
Yes. So these are the patterns that we see repeating over and over again when you look at the details. 4:15 for the pulse on 6/12. 612 days later, another shooting happens at a location named after a person who died on 5/14. And again, that date 5/14 is in Taurus, which is it's about Libra. One thing about decoding with just basic astrology, you're not getting the fancy stuff, just the basic astrology when you're looking at birthdays and the days of events, it's more about the ruling planets of the sign, not so much the sign itself. The ruling planet means more than the actual sign. So when you see Taurus, think Venus. When you see Libra, think Venus, and that will open up. That alone, without any complicated or advanced astrology knowledge, which you can gradually acquire, but that alone, the ruling planets, that's what really can break open a decode, because that leads to other things. It's associated with Roman, gods or goddesses, and they have properties, and it's all about the ruling planet. So this is about Venus. When you see 5:14, it's all about Venus, the goddess of love, symbolized by the heart. So the Danish football soccer star who experienced cardiac arrest on June 12th 2021, Christian Eriksen, was born on Valentine's Day, the same day as same date as the Pulse nightclub shooting, as Denmark's best player, and he's a central midfielder, he's a scorer, and he's a distributor. So he's an assister and a scorer, and he'll assist the assister. He's in the center of the midfield, and he's by far their best player. So you can say, and this is how they do refer to people.
He's the heart of the team.
The heart of the Denmark team.
Right, heart of the team.
Yeah, exactly. You could even say he's the pulse of the team. That's another thing you can say is he makes the team tick. These are established heart euphemisms that we've always used in sports. He is the heart of the team. So the date 14th February is written 142. There have been a lot of decodes on this Eriksen incident, so I'm sure everybody got this one. The name Christian has gematria of 142, like the date 14th February, his birthday, Valentine's Day. A euphemism for the heart is a ticker, making the ticking of a clock a metaphor for the beating of a heart. The ticking of a clock is imitated by the phrase tick-tock. Again, so euphemism for your heart. Your heart's a ticker, it's a clock. But popular social media network service TikTok spells the same phrase T-I-K-T-O-K. This may be by design for a cruel ritual by entities with the ability to manipulate the details, or it could be sheer coincidence. But when we pay attention to the details of news narratives, we see this kind of insult again and again and have to wonder how it can all be coincidence. When Christian Eriksen suffered his cardiac arrest, it was directly in front of an advertising board for TikTok. And I show the picture there. He goes down and look in the background and says TikTok. And we know how they do the cruel mockery. And it happens so often, you can't always be a coincidence. So TikTok, when spelled the correct way, the normal way, it sums to 29, and that is Christian Eriksen's age, 29 years old. The phrase heartbeat sums to 163. June 12th is the 163rd day of the year. And for anyone who thinks that this is actually the cruel imagination of perceptive conspiracy theorists, then consider that this year, 2021, the Daytona 500
Here, Rambo.
in Florida.
Rambo, hold the Daytona 500 thought. If you read the story about his collapse, it says he collapsed in the 43rd minute of a scoreless game. In Gematria, football and collapse are the exact same in all four base ciphers, including 43. Football equals 29, 43, 83, 133, and the exact same ciphers as collapse. And these numbers get used all the time in big football rituals. So it's football to the majority of the world. In the 43rd minute, the collapse of the football star at age 29, plus everything else. Commercial break real quick, and then we'll be back with Rambo and the rest of the decode. Sit tight.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Karanism Raw with Karen and Missa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Rob Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117? Or call into your favorite show, toll-free at 833-TFR-LIVE. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear on the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
A military military base on lockdown. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Officials at Joint Base San Antonio in Texas have been investigating reports that 2 suspected shooters fired shots from off base, then fled on foot. There are no injuries reported. They're working with San Antonio police to clear the area and search for the shooters. President Biden just landing in England to begin his first foreign trip as president, 3 countries in 8 days and 3 summits with the G7, NATO, and Russia's president, telling reporters before he left this morning it's about strengthening alliances.
This is a high-stakes trip to Europe in which President Biden will be watched closely and assessed on how he manages to unite the G7 and NATO partners and rebuilds alliances that have frayed in recent years.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Meantime, the president reportedly plans to announce a plan to buy 500 million more doses of COVID vaccine to share with the world. It wasn't about the photo op. That's the conclusion in a new government report that says President Trump's picture at a historic D.C. church was not the reason protesters were forcibly cleared from a park near the White House.
The Interior Department's Inspector General says U.S. Park Police removed crowds protesting the death of George Floyd so that a contractor could get started installing new fencing. About 30 minutes after police used pepper pellets and flashbangs. Then President Trump walked across Lafayette Park to deliver a short speech in front of St. John's Church while holding a Bible. The watchdog report found the clearing of the park was justified, but that law enforcement agencies failed to communicate adequately with each other and did not give sufficient warnings to protesters.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland at the White House. A Trump-era rule that narrowed the types of waterways qualifying for federal protection is now formally under review. The Biden administration filing legal action. The former president said the rules imposed unnecessary burdens on business. America is listening to Fox News.
Wherever you are, make it see. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We got interrupted by the break. Rambo in the middle of another very interesting breakdown, and let's get him back on the line. Rambo, you still there?
Yep.
Okay, we're ready. Yes.
Yeah, so you were talking about the 43. 43 is also the crucifixion date of Jesus, April 3rd. I guess his name is Christian Erickson, so there's some Christian crucifixion of the Christ imagery in this ritual as well. And also another term that comes to 612 in the Sumerian is the term Sacred Heart. And that's associated with Jesus as well. Sometimes he's depicted with a heart, and sometimes the heart has a crown of thorns on it. That's Sacred Heart. That's another 612 that's related to Jesus. And so another, some people may think this is a coincidence. He has a heart problem in front of a TikTok sign. Well, consider that this year, 2021 Daytona 500 NASCAR race was held from Valentine's Day to February. So it started February 14th to February 15th, and that race was won by Michael Christopher McDowell, who was sponsored by Love's. It's a truck stop and convenience store franchise, and his uniform and car are adorned with the Love's heart logo. Now, remember that the race started on February 14th, on Valentine's Day. So the driver with the Love and the heart logo wins the Valentine's Day race. But also, it's car number 34. Remember the crucifixion day?
Also, Rambo, something that stood out huge about this is it was right after the Super Bowl, and this driver won it 55 days after his birthday, and it was Super Bowl 55, and LV in English, L is 12 and V is 22, so L plus V is 34. Brady won his 34th playoff game winning Super Bowl 55, so LV has a connection to 34 through English, 55 through Roman numerals. And then the following weekend, this driver, 55 days from his birthday, in the 34 car with the hearts on it on Valentine's Day. So I don't know if you see an angle there with the football besides the numbers, but all this stuff is connected.
Yeah, also, look at his middle name, Christopher. Chris, has a Christ in it. 34, Christ. This is something else they're putting out there. Also, compare the name of the franchise name, Love's, Love''S, to the name of the June 12th Orlando nightclub with the heart referencing name, Pulse. So you Love and Pulse. And they have perfect match in all four base ciphers, Love and Pulse. And they have almost the same theme. In 1983, I'll credit Benjamin. I got this from young Benjamin. He brought this one up to me. I'll give him the credit. In 1983, there's a mega hit song called, the title is Total Eclipse of the Heart. Everyone's heard it, even if they don't recognize the title, if they hear it, they're like, yeah, I've heard that song. Everybody's heard it. It's like a mega hit.
Right.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah. Well, the release date for Total Eclipse of the Heart was June 12th. So that there's another Heart June 12th association. This was in 83, so this has been going on for a while. Again, I credit Benjamin for that one. He shared that with me. Then there's Venus, the goddess of love, in the sport of tennis. As I mentioned earlier, the zodiac sign of Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. Venus is also the goddess of love. The sport of tennis is imbued in Venus symbolism. The words tennis and Venus match in Gematria. They have the same Gematria. The word for zero, or lack of a score, in tennis is, and this is strange, it's an unusual name for zero.
Love.
Is love. Yeah. So a 15-0 score in tennis is not 15-0 or 15-0 or 15 to nothing. No, it's 15 love. Love equals 0 in tennis. For another Venus reference, the prestigious Wimbledon champion trophy for women is called the Venus Rosewater Dish. Unlike all other major trophies, the Venus Rosewater Dish is circular. It's a circular-shaped trophy. That's a very unique shaped trophy in most sports and for tennis. Like everything else is like a cup with handles, but Venus for the women's trophy it's circular. And also the circle is considered feminine and the square is considered male. So this is associated with Venus as well, the goddess. The most dominant women's tennis player of the current era, which is coming to a close, is Serena Williams, who's a Libra. So Serena Williams represents Venus, and she's the most dominant player because tennis is imbued with Venus energy, the goddess of love. And her sister's name is Venus. It's not a coincidence. The trophy name is Venus Rosewater Dish. It's kind of obvious when you look once you notice it. So heavy Venus coding here, but there's more. Her Her father, Venus and Serena Williams' father, Richard Williams, was born on Valentine's Day, February 14th. There's another February 14th birthday. In the National Basketball Association, Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kevin Love wears the number 0, which is referred to a 0 it's a reference to love in tennis. So I don't know if he did that in tennis because he's a basketball player. What does he care about tennis? But it lines up with tennis. He wears 0. 0 is love, and his name is Love. So it's another.
Hey,
again,
just a reminder, since you talked about the Rockefellers, when Kevin Love was on the Cavs, they called it the Big Three. It was LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. They combined for a record 101 points, and then the news the next day was the death of David Rockefeller at age 101. And of course, the Rockefeller dynasty started in Cleveland, where that happened at the time. But I remember that like it was yesterday. That was a big 101 ritual with the NBA and David Rockefeller. Finals equals 101. Of course, the Cavs went to the finals that year. But just a reminder, since you brought up Rockefeller.
Yeah, that is a big one, especially the fact that they came from Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, yeah, people, I forgot about. But you sure it's a web. You see how I said how David Rockefeller was associated with hearts. Like, even if he didn't really get 6, he probably got at least 1. He's still associated.
Well, I think I get the joke. When you write out 6, it equals 52 with the most simple cipher, just like heart is 52 at the most simple cipher. You got 6 hearts. So 6 also. Hey, you know what else interesting? You know what else? 6 equals 29. Heart equals 29. You were just talking about the ritual with the football player while he's 29, and again, football and claps are 29. So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
It all
yeah,
fits.
he's 29 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a list of 52s. I didn't include it, but yeah, TikTok spelled the regular way is 52. If you spell out Valentine's Day, it comes to 52. Sinai, heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so the number 0 is a circle. The Venus Rosewater dish is a uniquely circular trophy.
Right.
This relates to the mathematical value of pi, which is used to measure circles. Pi has a value of 22 divided by 7. You get 22/7, like 22/7. That's pi. It's related to circles. So look at the official time given for the end of the Valentine's Day Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. It was at 2:27. That's the official time for the end, like 2:27, the value of pi that measures circles. Now think of the association of the heart. It is Valentine's Day. The heart commands the circulatory system. So again, with now you see the relevance, how it all ties in. 227. It's a very huge ritual number, 227. 227. So yeah, circulatory, as in circular, as in circulate. Then this major case, Loving versus Virginia. In 1967, there was a landmark civil rights case decided by the United States Supreme Court. Prior to the court's decision on Loving versus Virginia, marriage between people of different races was illegal in the state of Virginia and many other states. And there was no federal law granting the right and freedom to marry anyone of any race in the United States. These are known as anti-miscegenation laws. The name of the iconic couple always stood out. They called the Loving, that's the last name. They always stood out as coincidental and or appropriate and or synchronistic. But Mildred Jeter, that was her maiden name. She's a black woman. And Richard Loving was a white Irish American who were being barred from marriage by the state of Virginia on grounds that their racial differences disqualified them from being able to marry. Remember that love and the heart are associated with Venus, and in tennis with the number 0, and the circle applies to the heart in terms of circulatory system. So 22/7 pi number is related to Venus and the heart and love. Well, Mildred Loving, her name was Jeter, but after she married, she married Richard Loving, Mildred Loving. Her birth date is 22/7, so again, we see that association again, 227. So Loving versus Virginia resulted in the United States Supreme Court striking down anti-miscegenation laws in the United States. That decision is celebrated today. It doesn't have an official holiday, but it is a holiday. Nonetheless, it is recognized. It's called Loving Day, and it's on the anniversary of the decision on June 12th in 1967. So there's another June 12th. There's Loving versus Virginia. And again, love related to the heart again. So that's another heart June 12th association, a major one. So in Gematria, Venus comes to 54. 54 is a huge Venus number. Venus is the goddess of love. Love comes to 54. When you spell out June 12th, it comes to 54. A Danish soccer star, Christian Eriksen, the man of the Valentine's Day birthday, suffered cardiac arrest on the 54th anniversary of Loving versus Virginia. And on, Loving Day, yeah. So, St. Valentine's Day was Saint abbreviated ST. And Loving v. Virginia, they're a veritable super match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers. So Loving Virginia, St. Valentine's Day. Close to the end, real quick, there's the Mars-Moon Association I was talking about. Richard Loving is a Scorpio. He's ruled by Mars. Mildred Loving is a Cancer. She's ruled by the Moon. So they represent Moon-Mars again I was talking about. And also, when Christian Eriksen went down with cardiac arrest in Copenhagen, the constellation of Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, was on the eastern horizon. That's known in astrology as the ascendant. It's very influential, the ascendant. So there's that Moon-Mars ritual theme that I've noticed, which is repeated again. So yeah, that's it. That's it for this week.
All right, Rambo. Brilliant as always. Love the way you're putting it together.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
no problem.
I appreciate it as always, and have a good rest of your night, and I can't wait until next time. Thank you.
Yeah, I still want to do part 3 of the asphyxiation thing, but
whenever you want to do that, if you want to do that before next Wednesday, just shoot me a message. So we'll do it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Rambo.
Okay.
All right. You have a good night.
Take care.
All right. You too. Okay. Let's go out to Iowa. Thank you for your patience, Iowa 319. Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
Thank you for taking my call.
Well,
I just was wondering, what is your take on who's coordinating all these
events?
All these uncoincidental events, yes.
Well, again, to me, as far as I can tell, the Jesuits are definitely up there at the top calling the shots. Is there something that the Jesuits get their orders from? I don't know. But again, the language, the calendar, it all goes back to Rome and about the time of the Jesuits. And we see how the rituals are continually synced with the Pope and the Superior General of the Jesuits. So it looks like that's somewhere near the top, if not the top.
You mean the Jesuits have something to do with the man having a heart attack in front of a TikTok sign?
Well, that they could be scripting the theater of a football game like that, just the ritual. I mean, this is the kind of number game and ritual they do day after day. So, did the guy really have a heart attack, or is he just collapsing at the 43rd minute on a certain spot on the field that he's told to do ritualistically? I mean, these players fake injuries all the time. It's a joke. I mean, did you watch Joel Embiid in the last game? And he looked like he all of a sudden turned 50 years old and forgot to play basketball. Then tonight he comes out like he's healthier than ever. I mean, it's all theater out here with these athletic, overpaid actors.
I understand there's a lot of overpaid actors for sure.
Yeah. So
I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And another thing to look into is how many players in the world of professional sports went to Catholic and Jesuit high schools. It is a disproportionate amount. That's something we've been talking about for years. So they have a huge influence in the world of sports and other things. And for most people, all they know about Jesuits is good academic and athletic programs at a young age. Elite schools is how Jesuit high schools are thought of. So again, I mean, you start to follow the trail, it all starts to make a lot of sense. But I appreciate you calling in with the question, and you have a good night, friend. We'll go out to the Twin Cities, 612. Speaking of the 612.
Hey, 93rd West, 44th North, man.
Indeed. How you doing this evening?
Buddy, don't worry. Everyone don't worry because Ashtar Command is coming. The Brotherhood of Light is coming to save us all from the Illuminatis and the Reptoids. And so there will be an intervention. Now, just so everyone is clear about the vaccine, it is an experimental drug. And if there are any complications in the future, Pfizer and friends are completely immune from any prosecution. Now, you tell people that, you tell them that, hey, it's a rushed out experimental vaccine. They'll tell you, no, it's not. It went through the same trials as anything else. What world do you live in? This is what buddy, every time I call you, we talk about the same thing. And it comes back to mind control. It comes back to this hypercube satanic mind control. You tell them, hey, you're vaccinated. Aren't you immune? Aren't you good? Why are you worried about me? Oh, well, no, it's not necessarily true because the different variants and there's different strains. Then why are you taking it? Where's the logic? They have no logic. They have fancy wording. They have propaganda. And it's amazing how many people, it shows people's true colors. It really does. And it shows people's apathy towards themselves and towards others. They don't care about their bodies. They don't care about others. They don't care about their kids.
It's like the only care is to fit in. And as far as I hear everything you're saying, it's like their only care is to fit in, and that's what I've said the same thing about society for so long now. Is just that they have no care for what matters. They're so apathetic about the things that do, and they're just such conformists. And yeah, there's so many people who have said, "Man, I knew somebody a year ago that was like, no way would I get the vaccine," but now they've already gotten the vaccine. And
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. You know, my girlfriend's mom is a nurse, and she said I should get it. I don't have proof that I got it. You don't have proof? No, they never gave me a card. What the? It's literally a drive-through jab. You drive in, they jab you through your window. God knows what with what. You drive out. It's crazy. They don't care at all. It's hilarious, dude. It's so sad, but it's so funny. And just one last thing. If I was graduating from high school, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I want to get off the phone so that people can call in. If I was graduating high school right now, I would go out and find some organic farmers or some at least conventional farmers and work with them, work for them in exchange for room and board and food. I would get out of the city, do some soul searching, give the world some time, learn about nature, get out in nature. There's farms out there, you know, there's websites that there's references and resources that can help you connect with people that are looking for volunteers. So that's what I would do. Anyway, thanks for taking my call, Zach.
I appreciate your call and all your thoughts. You have a good night, friend.
You too.
All right, take care. All right, let's go out to Iowa. Another Iowa caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
All right. Yesterday, Forbes put out an article about 5 books Bill Gates recommends people read for the summer. The first, the picture was him holding the books, and the top book was Lights Out. And I checked, and the book is about a cyber attack, and then the full title is The Cyber Attack, A Nation Unprepared, and the Aftermath. And I'm like, damn. That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to the gentleman who... I meant to cover this. I'm glad you brought it up. I meant to cover this tonight when I started the show, and I totally forgot. But yeah, if people haven't looked this out, like even the quick Google search, Bill Gates shares the 5 books he's reading this summer, and even lists the first one first, Lights Out. Under a White Sky.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. Come on.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He did the same thing at the beginning of the pandemic when he kept getting like interviews on CNN. There was like a background of books, and one was like How to Lie with Stats or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Mockery.
It is,
the
man.
Mockery's insane.
It
is.
Is.
That's all I wanted to say, man. Thank you.
Yeah, good call. Appreciate that. Have a good night.
Yep, people. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go out to Marco. What's up, Marco? Gematria Wiz?
Hi, what's up, Zach? How you feeling, brother?
Feeling all right. How are you?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Couple of things, man. I've been trying to call in for a couple of weeks. The girl Dakota, Dakota equals 38, and she was said to pose topless at the mural for George Floyd, and topless equals 38 and also 83 as well.
So I see that. That goes right with the... And she's dead a span of 38 days later.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Excuse me. I gotta say this real fast. Don't know if I've ever said it before, but I do believe I told you, I buried my sister last year, and pretty much the reason that I buried her was because of an immunization shot. Now, it wasn't for coronavirus, but it was for the DPT shot that you get back when you're a young child. Basically, she got it at 2 months, and then she got it again at 4 months. And my parents noticed at 4 months that basically she was having problems. You know what I mean? She started having seizures and stuff, man. So basically, if you know anything about the DPT shot, it's diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. It's a cocktail shot. So they take 3 different drugs and they mix them all together. They originally weren't given like that. Originally they were, separate back in I think the 40s and 50s, maybe the 60s. But long story short, what I'm getting at with that is that to prove what Rambo said is right on the money is that I keep telling people that these vaccines, man, they're like new cars. When they just bring out a new model, there's always recalls. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know what person thinks that it makes sense to put to put those drugs into their body. But long story short, what I'm getting at is that they don't even offer the DPT shot anymore. They now have what's called DTaP. That's diphtheria, tetanus, and basically an altered state of pertussis. Excuse me. Pertussis was the drug that they gave you for the whooping cough. And basically, it was so many children being affected by that original DPT shot, they had to now change it to DTaP. So for anybody that's thinking about getting, that vaccine, don't do it. I mean, listen to what I just said. My sister was literally mentally handicapped, was born normal, but was basically her whole life was stolen from her because of a vaccine shot. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through all that, Marco. I didn't know that, actually. But I do appreciate you calling in and sharing that story because people need to hear it right now more than ever.
Definitely, man. That really wasn't the reason I called, Zach. If you don't mind, man, I got a decode for you, man. I got a good one, man. Do you mind if I take a little bit more time?
I don't mind at all. You haven't called in for a while, so take your time. Oh, hold on, Marco. It's commercial break. We'll be right back with Marco after the break. Sit tight.
It's amazing how people have been raving about IOLife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with IOLife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with IOLife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iolife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ayalife.com. AYAlife.com.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're at the midway point. We've got an hour and a half of show left, and Marco was about to get into a decode. Marco, you still there?
Yes, brother.
Okay, you got the floor.
I appreciate you, man. I wanted to do a decode on his brother Kwame Brown.
Okay.
He's been everywhere, and I know he was supposed to do an interview with you. Are you still doing that interview?
Oh, well, he was in the chat, but I've been trying to... he doesn't have a way to track him down, so I know he's aware of us. I just have to figure out a way to lure him in and see if I can get a conversation of him doing an interview. So I don't know what his contact information is right now.
Okay. Now, I have a lot of interesting stuff, Zach. I don't want to ruin any interview or nothing either, but just very peculiar to me. If I can go through a couple of things. Basically, I find it interesting. We already know that Kwame basically got his breakout, on the Boulet's birthday.
Right.
Very interesting. So, Boulet, of course, equals 55. Prince Hall, 55. Sigma Pi Phi, 55. Kwame Brown is 55. He has 5 letters in his first name. He has 5 letters in his last name. So, that's very interesting. He uses the term love beats hate every time. That equals 257. That's the 55th prime. He just has a lot of interesting stuff around him. Kwame equals, also by itself, equals 53. He seems to drink Coca-Cola a lot, and Coca-Cola is 53. Kwame has also his whole name, Kwame Hassani Brown, equals 177 and 69, just like the Jesuit Order. I find that interesting. He also, if you take his initials to his name, KB, if you just write those letters out on the Gematria native, very interestingly equals 13 and 41. So you know those numbers, Zach. What is it with this 13 and 41 that we keep saying? We know that those are the ages for Gianna and also Kobe, right?
Right.
But what I think I might have found, and you might have said it already, so I don't want to repeat anything that you've already said, but have we noticed that Black Mason had something to do with both of those numbers? The term or the phrase Black Mason equals 91, which is the 13th triangular number, and it also equals 179, which is the 41st prime number. So it's like a mixture of both energies, if you ask me. Everything around Kwame seems to be dealing with 41s, and I'll give you my list of 41s for him. Interestingly as well, the devil equals 41, as well as Black Savior equals 41. I personally feel like they're shoving Kwame in our face right now and treating him like a Black Savior, as if he's going to come by and just, clean up all of the guys that are out here, getting over on Black folk and just, you get what I'm saying? Almost like he's different or something. But if you ask me, I think he's more of the same stuff as, just, he's, what do they say, same great taste, new look, same great taste. And to me, it just doesn't taste right in my mouth right now. And I just look at the different things around him. So again, if you look at any of his videos, Zach, in the background, he has a lot of different stuff going on. And one of the things that caught my eye was a key. Well, key equals 41 and 13. He also has a globe in the back of him. Globe equals 41. He sometimes wears a Stetson. A Stetson is a hat, one of those hats that the Mounties wear. And I found that interesting because that hat is a direct. A Stetson is a name, but basically it has another name called a campaign hat. Excuse me. And basically, campaign hat equals 93 and 60. I'm gonna tell you why that's significant. If you look at the shape of that hat, it literally looks like the planet Saturn with the 93. The shape of the hat has that bubble in the center, and if you look around the side of the hat, it has a really big brim. The hat itself is representing Saturn. It's called a campaign hat or a campaign cover, which equals 71 like Catholic. But yeah, it's called a Stetson. It equals 41 again. I'll get back to my 41s. He has he keeps saying we the people equals 41. What else do we have there? I'm gonna go through some of the things that he says out of his mouth. The name of his channel is called Bus Life. Bus Life equals 94 and 50. NBA player equals 94 and 50, which he was. He talks about the machine. The machine equals 49 and 50, pretty much the same thing. I might add on that America equals 49 and 50, and also gun control equals 49 and 50. He talks about a tractor. Tractor equals 94 and 49. Again, he has a globe. That is 94. He talks about he's his mama's son. That's 49. He talked to Tommy Sotomayor. That's 227, which is the 49th prime. I'm just trying to go through a bunch of different things so you can see how everything that seems like it comes out of his mouth seems to be affiliated to, you get what I'm saying, like some type of number and everything that he does. Let's go on to a couple of 42s. He claims that he's a Geechee. He spells it differently than the way they spell it online. So Geechee, he spells it Geechie. That equals 42 in two of the ciphers. It also equals 30 like the N-word. He also likes to call people boy a lot, I noticed. Boy equals 42 as well. I have a lot of stuff on this thing, Zach. I don't want to overwhelm anything, you know what I mean, and say too much. But I will say it's funny that Kwame equals 53 and Kwame Brown again equals 55. He calls himself an influencer. Influencer equals 53 and 55. He talks about that he wants to do for the adolescents, for the children. That equals 35 and 55, adolescent. In his background, again, he has a white bird. White bird equals 53 and 55. White falcon, if that's what it is, equals 53 and 55. It also equals 181, which is the 42nd prime, and white dove equals 42. The reason why those numbers are important is because basically this go along, get along gang that we keep hearing about, Zach. He keeps using that term because go along, get along gang equals 181, the 42nd prime. So he acts as though he's distancing himself away from these Boule members, when to me the whole time it seems like you're just down with the whole, you're down with them. Go along, get along gang also equals 91, which again is the 13 triangular number. But what's interesting about 91 is that the Society of Jesus also equals 91. This brother is said to be from Charleston. Charleston equals 56, right? The way he spells his CashApp, Kwame H. Brown, that equals 56. Like Zach, everything around this guy just is like too set up, is too like staged. And if you just do a little math on the things that are around him and the things that he talks about, you'll be able to see, just right through this guy. He talks about Matt Barnes. He calls him Becky with the good hair. Well, Becky with the good hair equals it equals 216, which is the product of 6 times 6 times 6. Matt Barnes also equals 157, back to the Kobe number, and Black Woman Mason also equals 157, which I thought was interesting. Shout out to Angel Z, who helped me with this decode as well. Excuse me, there are just a lot of, different things that we were able to figure out together, so it really worked out good. He calls people sir a lot. He always uses the term sir. Well, sir equals 46 like Catholic and like sacrifice, and it also equals 19 like chaos. So to me, before I can even really fully get my eyes all the way open, Zach, I already have Kwame on, because I'm subscribed to him. I want to hear what the brother has to say. I wanted to see where he was coming from. And it seems like every morning, 8, 9 o'clock, you're already on, on the YouTube, full of drama, talking all this stuff, and I'm tired of hearing it, honestly. I'm pretty much going to unsubscribe, but it's amazing because, excuse me, you say that you are a person that, is not with all of this, this drama, and you don't have a problem with anybody, but yet you, in your own words, wake up with violence. Wake up with violence equals 222 and 87. Spread my mama's cooking equals 222 and 87. So it's like, what's up with this guy? Everything he says out of his mouth is questionable. I'll leave it at this. I'm going to wrap it up because I've taken too long, Zach. I appreciate you letting me, say what I got to say, because I'm really going to have to post this. It's just really too much just to get in, over the phone like this. But I find it interesting. He says all the time, everyone wants some of my mama's cooking. That equals 380 and 137. I didn't even get into the 137, Zach, how Zaddy Boy equals 137. My mama's son equals 137. Good acting boy equals 137. I didn't even get into those. I won't really do that. But everyone wants some of my mama's cooking equals 457, which is the 88th prime. African American Mason equals 88. He does a hat tip a lot. Hat tip equals 88, and black celebrity equals 88. This guy is full of numbers. I think I see right through him. I can keep going, Zach. I'm not going to do that to you. If I could just leave you with this last thing would be, notice the date from his birthday to when the Boule thing happened, where he blew up on the Boule. That was 66 days or 2 months and 5 days or 9 weeks and 3 days. So 66, 25, and 93. I mean, listen to those numbers. So I'll leave it at that, man. Like I said, I can keep going. Hopefully I wasn't all over the place. Hopefully I was clear and, you guys can understand what I was saying. But this is like a tangled web. I don't think I've ever seen a decode this webbed out, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally connected all over.
Sure. I just went back and looked because what I find interesting about Kwame Brown is he's had a YouTube channel for quite a while, but he just didn't have any views until the Boule's birthday this year, the same day that Jordan inducted Kobe into the Hall of Fame. And again, he's teammates with both. I thought the best thing that you shared out of all that was right at the beginning, the 55. Kwame Brown equals 55, like Boule, like Sigma Pi Phi, like Prince Hall, 5 letters in each name, like that right there. Because again, he got all the attention on the Boule's birthday. He's somewhere down near Atlanta where the Boule's now headquartered. They were established in Philly. Kobe's originally from Philly. But also, I went back and looked at when he did his interview with Tommy Sotomayor, and it was February 4th, 2020. Right. So 4-2, like 42, and Sotomayor's 42. And just, like, to me, I've always thought Tommy Sotomayor, I thought, like, he's just another guy that gets attention on YouTube that essentially just pushes stuff that ultimately is stereotypical, but
Another 55, Zach, not to cut you off, he played for 7 basketball teams. 7 basketball teams written out as words equals 55 as well.
and just all the 7 stuff this year. Yeah, all the 7 stuff.
Say it again.
Just all the 7 stuff this year.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
All the 7 stuff this year.
Right,
Sevens.
exactly.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, Zach, man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I appreciate you letting me speak. Again, I hope everything was clear. This is a mega decode. This one definitely has to go on some paper, so I'm gonna try to type it up, and that way everybody can see it on actual paper on
All right.
front of the screen or whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Marco. Good research. Thank you.
No problem, man. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, take care, man. Have a good night. All right, let's go out to Michigan. How you doing, Michigan?
Hey, Zach.
How's
it going?
It's going well, thank you.
Yeah, I think Charlotte Iserby's book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, is pretty spot on, especially when it comes to the, that guy that called in earlier about the vaccines and, how people are, oh, I'm not going to get it. Oh, I got it. Oh, it's safe and effective. Oh, I mean, come on, man. Did you get a chance to check out that deliberatedumbingdown.com?
I did. Yeah, I appreciate that recommendation.
Did you see anything there that stuck out?
Well, there's a lot of things.
So did you add that up? The deliberate dumbing down of America? What's that equal?
Oh, I didn't decode it like that. No, I was just looking at what was on the site after you recommended it that night.
Okay.
I can
Maybe you can pull up the Gematria and type that in there.
Is it the deliberate dumbing down of America or without the?
It is it's the deliberate dumbing down of America.
Okay, well, in
That's
the most
the name
pure
of her,
cipher, it's
textbook.
In the most pure cipher, it's 158, which always reminds of the Jesuit start date, 15/8, August 15th. Last year, Trump's brother died on that day. Freemasonry is also 158. It's got the 580 like 58 in Freemasonry, 311 the 64th prime. Yeah, I hadn't thought about the Gematria of the title, but I'll look more into that, see if there's some other connections there.
Okay, well, that all makes sense. The start date of the Jesuits, that's pretty, wow. Okay, that's about all I got. I just want everybody to look at that website, deliberatedumbingdown.com, and, if our illustrious government is capable of, that, deliberately dumbing down our children since the 1850s, what else are they capable of, right?
Indeed.
So I think it's a good tool to add to the Gematria effect. So thank you so much, and I will keep listening.
All right, you have a great night, friend. Thank you. Let's go out to Hawaii. How are you, Hawaii? Hawaii? 808? Hawaii, you're on.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi, I didn't know I was in the line to talk. Can you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Oh, I didn't really know I was in line to talk. But the gentleman that just spoke, David, he told me about your call. And this is my first time listening, and I totally understand it. But I actually have a comment.
Yeah.
Have you heard of anything called archons?
Yes.
Okay, I'm almost certain because there's this, it's like a species, and I don't know exactly what it is, but they have extra powers than the humans. And what happens is they can code in these activities, almost like the mandala effect. And then they can just, that's how it gets done. I know that one man, he said, how is this possible, Because they're working with these other entities who have access to other timelines. And I thank you for your call, and aloha.
I appreciate you calling in tonight, and I appreciate what you shared. Thank you so much. Anarchy, no rulers. It's related to that word as well. Anarchy, archons, no archons. So what exactly are archons? Definitely look into that, and you have a good night. Take care in Hawaii. All right, let's go out to Bart in Chicago. How you doing, Bart?
Hey Zach, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. I just gotta mention something, and I don't know if you've taken a look at Borat's show on Netflix. Borat has a show now, and they're using Borat to debunk conspiracy theorists. And you definitely got to check out anybody that's seriously, and they're doing a horrible job. It's so pathetic. But how they're doing it, and what kind of symbolism they're using, you just got to really see episode 1 and episode 2. In episode 2, they're debunking vaccines, and they're saying that conspiracy theorists are saying that vaccines have microchips in them, and that and then they're making people sound stupid by saying, well, if vaccines have a microchip in it, how would it fit through the needle? It needs a battery and an antenna, and they're just talking stupid trash.
Sure.
But everybody listening, you guys got to check it out. And what they're doing also is like they'll have a disclaimer that Borat is going to spend some time with 2 conspiracy theorists, and they say, we'll use this symbol to show you every time what they're talking about is a lie. And they're using the all-seeing eye as the symbol in a pyramid, in a triangle. So every time they say, oh, vaccines are not safe, then they'll show that symbol. So they're like programming people literally through the show to debunk conspiracy theorists. So that way, when the people that do watch the show, and then they end up talking to someone who's sharing the truth, they might just say you sound like Borat, like an idiot. So just thought I'd share that with you guys.
Well,
it's insane what they're doing.
Bart, that's super interesting. I don't see any Borat stuff on Netflix, though. Is it called something else?
It is. It's on there. It's got to be on there because I just watched it like a few days ago.
I know that Amazon made the Borat Part 2 movie like 6 months ago or so.
Oh, my bad. You're right. It's on Amazon.
It's the Part 2 movie. It's not a show, right?
Yeah, well, no, there's Part 2 movie, and then they started doing a show with episodes.
Okay, Borat's American Lockdown and Debunking Borat, is this it?
What is it called? Because I'm in my car right now.
Borat's American Lockdown and Debunking Borat?
Yeah, I think one of those. Debunking Borat. I think that's the one.
Then in Debunking Borat, see that 2 conspiracy theorists have their theories debunked by some of the world's leading experts. It was also more than a year ago that he spoke for the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which has the Jesuit stamp all over it, and called for greater censorship of people online. So it's like, wow, to have Sacha Baron Cohen to call for censorship, the guy who's known for like crude humor. What a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're really using his character now to debunk, the truth seekers and to make them look like fools, basically, to make them look like Borat.
Yeah. More mockery.
But it's it's more mockery, and it's pathetic the way they do it. But it's worth a look at. There's like the 2 episodes. They're just my jaw dropped when I saw that. I'm like, oh my god. What they're doing with it is just ridiculous. And this shows you how hard they're trying to silence the truth seekers and to censor people online. And they're doing it through TV shows and, stupid characters like Borat.
It's funny, it released on a date with 71 numerology and the 145th day of the year, and Catholics 71 and 145. And it was a date with 51 numerology as well, and conspiracies 51 like Rome. So what a day for a conspiracy debunking release. Yeah, I'll look more into that. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I didn't decode it. I was just watching and I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, look at this. So, but yeah, definitely you could decode it. I'll do some decode on it too as well. So that's all I got.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
All right. Bart with great work as always. You can find Bart if you're in the Chicago area. He's had some get-togethers lately, creating a little community in Chicago on free2findtruth.com. Let's go out to Florida. Florida, how are you? Florida, 352? 352, maybe just listening. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go out to 510, California.
What's up, Zach? Hey, I was just wondering what you think about this year being, say, 38 years from 1983, 47 years from 74, 65 years from 56. The reverse from each number is on this particular year.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought about that, especially considering that those are, the top special numbers, 38, 83, 74, 56.
Yeah, like I said, because they all have numerology of 11. But like I said at the beginning of the year, we were looking at that, and I said, watch out for people who had like big accomplishments in 83. They might be dropping dead this year, 38 years later. And like a day after I said that, for example, the manager of the Orioles, who won the 1983 World Series with the Orioles, died. And there's been some other examples since. People who had big accomplishments in 83, there's been a number of deaths this year, 38 years later, which makes sense because murders 38, 83, deaths 38. So, but yeah, all the things you pointed out are all interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was extremely interesting. Because they're also 9 years apart because you have the 9 and like 38, 47, 56, 74, 83, all 9 numbers apart.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, that's all.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you have a good night. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's go out to Delaware. What's up, Delaware?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good.
Yeah, since everybody was talking about people and their families or whatever who were affected by immunization shots and whatnot, I actually know 2 people who were affected by it. Somebody, my grandmother's goddaughter, somebody in her family back in April took either the Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson vaccination, and they weren't feeling too well and they were having some kind of head traumas, and they went to the hospital, and a week later they died. And my grandmother's goddaughter told me about the story when I was back in Delaware visiting back in April. And she told me that the woman was 38 years old, and my eyes kind of jumped up because of the whole gematria behind the number 38. And also, my homie's girlfriend's brother-in-law or brother recently drove to Ohio to get the vaccination because of the whole lottery scheme that they're doing. And he came back here, and now he's having trouble with moving his arm and back and whatnot. But I'm gonna try to be quick about the decode. The last time I was listening to one of your sports decodes, somebody had mentioned something about how there was an all-black hockey league.
Hold on, the commercial just started. We'll be right back, everybody.
Oh.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
A military base on lockdown. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Officials at Joint Base San Antonio in Texas have been investigating reports that 2 suspected shooters fired shots from off base, then fled on foot. There are no injuries reported. They're working with San Antonio police to clear the area and search for the shooters. President Biden just landing in England to begin his first foreign trip as president, 3 countries in 8 days and 3 summits with the G7, NATO, and Russia's president. Telling reporters before he left this morning it's about strengthening alliances.
This is a high-stakes trip to Europe in which President Biden will be watched closely and assessed on how he manages to unite the G7 and NATO partners and rebuilds alliances that have frayed in recent years.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Meantime, the president reportedly plans to announce a plan to buy 500 million more doses of COVID vaccine to share with the world. It wasn't about the photo op. That's the conclusion in a new government report that says President Trump's picture at a historic D.C. church was not the reason protesters were forcibly cleared from a park near the White House.
The Interior Department's Inspector General says U.S. Park Police removed crowds protesting the death of George Floyd so that a contractor could get started installing new fencing. About 30 minutes after police used pepper pellets and flashbangs. Then President Trump walked across Lafayette Park to deliver a short speech in front of St. John's Church while holding a Bible. The watchdog report found the clearing of the park was justified, but that law enforcement agencies failed to communicate adequately with each other and did not give sufficient warnings to protesters.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland at the White House. A Trump-era rule that narrowed the types of waterways qualifying for federal protection is now formally under review. The Biden administration filing legal action. The former president said the rules imposed unnecessary burdens on business. America is listening to Fox News.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
We're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour left, and the chat is telling me that it looks like this is true. Well, I'll do some more research. Somebody's saying that Alex Jones put out a challenge to Bill Gates about committing suicide on live air. I don't know if that's true, but again, both these guys are puppets. They are both controlled puppets. And with that said, let's get back to the phone line. And Delaware got interrupted by the break. There's about 20 people on hold, so if everybody keeps their call to a minute, we should be able to get through everybody who's waiting. You're on, Delaware.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. Well, the last time I was listening to one of your Patreon videos about sports, somebody had mentioned about how there was an all-black color league that was invented in 1895, and it took place in one of the provinces in Canada.
Okay.
It took place in the Nova Scotia province.
Nova Scotia.
Which featured teams. Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, which featured teams from across Canada's maritime provinces. And what I found interesting is that there is a lot of 59 and 42s surrounding hockey. They were Black Canadians. Black Canadians is 95. Hockey equals 95. Black hockey equals 42. Colored hockey equals 59. Maritimes equals 44, like African American. Ice hockey equals 42. The Nova, how you pronounce it? Nova, is it Nova Scotia or Scotia?
Nova Scotia.
That equals, Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia, that equals 38, like the word nigger, like Africa. And the name of the city, Halifax, that equals 38, just like the word Africa. And one of the teams that took place when they were playing was Halifax, EUREKAS. That equals 60, like the N-word, like cotton pickers. And the first black man who played in the NHL, Canadian born. His name was Willie O'Ree. His name equals 59, and also it equals 58 because it says that Willie O'Ree made hockey history in 1958 when he became the first black player in the NHL, joining the Boston Bruins in a game against the Montreal Canadiens. Bruins equals 38 as well too. And looking at the impact on black hockey players, there was a hockey player by the name of Akim Aliu, and he was involved in an accident with his coach for the Calgary Flames. The coach's name was Bill Peters. In the interview with TSN, Aliu said he walked in before a morning pregame skate and said, "Hey Akim, I'm sick of you playing that N-word music. Shh. I'm sick of hearing that N-word effing other N-word in the ass stuff." And he said, and the hockey player said that he experienced many modern problems and how the NHL kind of ignored it. And his name equals 213. How like that's another number stamped on black people. Tupac released an album February 13th, and then died 213 days later. And another black hockey player who used to play for a Canadian team, Anthony Duclair, he also stated that there was a lot of racial problems in the NHL, and his name equals 213. So I found it kind of interesting that this league was founded in 1895 with all the 95s surrounding it. And it basically took place 25 years before the Negro Leagues.
Okay, yeah, very interesting research. I appreciate you putting all that together.
You're welcome, and I appreciate you because this past weekend in baseball, I pretty much killed it on the 12th. I won $204. And then I won money off the Adesanya fight because I knew that shit was going to be rigged. I thought I was telling my friends that it was going to be rigged. And then last night, I won. I put up two separate parlays for $20. I lost on one of them, and I gained 107 on the other one. So I'm pretty much up right now. So yeah, so I appreciate you. I appreciate all you've done and all your work and everything, because I just hate when people say, "Oh, Zach Hubbard's work is BS," or "You must just be a tarot card reader," and it's like I've lived off of your work from 2014 to 2018. Like I didn't even have a job back then, and I discovered your work, and I just basically lived off of a lot of sports for so many years, and yeah, I really do appreciate what you've done for this community, and yeah, thank you.
All right, man. I appreciate it. You keep up the good work. You have a good night.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is a lot of money to be made off this knowledge. That's the power of knowledge. Knowledge is power. You can use it in so many ways. Michigan, 586.
What's up, Zach?
How you doing?
Yeah, I was at the caller at the very beginning of the show. I just had to go eat dinner. But anyways, when you were talking about Trump earlier in the show, but yeah, I do think he's going to be coming back. And you remember on like the 133rd day of the year?
Well, just the big connection with President 133. But what's on the 133rd day of the year?
A news story.
What was it again?
It was I think it was Liz Cheney. She said, or whoever said that Donald Trump was going to unravel democracy to come back into power.
Right. Yeah.
And also, you remember Ivanka 2028?
Mm-hmm. The Simpsons, right?
Yeah. So I'm like thinking like, could we see Trump in 2024 and then Ivanka in 2028? Because if that were to happen, she would be elected at age 47, and let's say that Joe Biden dies and then Kamala's number 47, she'd also be the 47th person to be in office and be elected at age 47.
Yeah, again, Ivanka Trump 47, Trump 47, President 47, her dad in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel. And again, just the Lisa Simpson character, who becomes the first female president after Donald Trump. Lisa Simpson's 47.
Yeah, and if you remember, Lisa Simpson and Ivanka Trump, they have the same exact gematria and all four ciphers.
Right. Yep. Lisa Simpson, Ivanka Trump, the exact same in all four. Very true. And one of those is 146, which is like Trump's birthday, June 14th, the flag's birthday, 14/6. So, yeah, a lot there going on.
Yeah, so one thing that I think people, like, if people are going to bet, I think they should bet on elections because, I mean, this last one was pretty obvious, like, 46, like, even though you wouldn't really have made that much money on Joe Biden because he was the favorite.
You had huge odds with Trump paid a ton when at the beginning when he wasn't even the Republican nominee. Trump paid a ton when I thought that he was going to be it. At the end, I thought, okay, he's gone too far, but it ended up being him. But yeah, at the beginning, he had monster odds to become president. So, 2016.
Yeah.
Back in 2016, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I remember that, and especially that commercial with like the Serta mattress, 11/9, then he becomes the president on 11/9.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, I think it's just another thing about the 47. I just think it's funny that the first female president just happens. It's going to be number 47.
It looks that way, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the observation, man. Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night. All right, let's go out to Toronto. How you doing, Toronto?
Hi, Zach. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, Natalie?
I'm good. I have the scripted hockey game on. This is Montreal's playing. I'm eating my basement snacks. So I can't complain. How are you?
Very good. If the Canadians can hang on, they'll get their 443rd postseason win all time. The 86 prime in Las Vegas equals 86. So we'll see.
Yeah. I have my 56 shirt on. I have my Canadian shirt on.
Very nice.
So this is like the most hockey I have watched like all year.
Sure.
So what I am calling in is there has been a London attack in Ontario, and it was a family of 4 people, Muslim, and they have to, the news actually has to make it like, oh, they're different faith, they're Muslim, because London, Ontario doesn't have black people, but they have a lot of Muslim people. So you'll see where I'm going with this. So it's a white man who's 20 years old who has terrorist charges. His name is Nathaniel Veltman. What stood out to me is 171, like Jesuit Society's 171. And he had a truck, didn't say what truck, and he killed 4 people. And this was even on CNN News too. And it happened on June 6th, and at 8:40 p.m. So 84 is Jesuit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the interesting part is like the June 6th, and what followed after was the white supremacy narrative from the liberals, from Trudeau, I call him Trudeau, or Justin Castro, from we call it NDP, but the New Democratic Party, so the full name. And to June 6, 209 days left of the year, white supremacist is 209 days. Is 209.
Huh.
And then, like, if you Google the article, you see the father, or the mother is 46. I think the grandpa is 74. And I'm like, really? So they canceled the Ontario election, but hundreds of people, they canceled the Ontario election for COVID, but hundreds of people can have a memorial for a truck killing 4 people, and that's not breaking any COVID rules. Well, we're technically still in lockdown. What the hell is this?
Right. Exactly.
There is multi-faith walks to end hate. What does that mean? I just thought a walk because of my hate for skunks, man. Come on. And I can ask my Hindu neighbors to walk with me. That means nothing to me. But again, it's more close to 1,000 people. But then again, the elections are canceled, the provincial elections, because of COVID. So there you go. That's all I have, really.
Well, I appreciate all those observations, Natalie. Thank you so much. And you're right. We live in the silliest of times. Nothing really makes sense if you think about it, but most people aren't thinking. So appreciate you as always, friend.
Most people are not thinking. They just double mask and ride their bike when I'm on the trail. It's so insane.
It is. At least we're not insane. Well, stay well out there, Natalie. I hope you're enjoying your break. And, hopefully we get to saner times. So, I appreciate you.
All right, Zach. I appreciate you, too. Talk to you later.
Yeah, you take care. Good night. Okay, let's go out to Jason in the 612. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Zach. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, my life's falling apart, dude, but that's beside the point. Won't bore you with that. But, so, I just want to say one thing real quick here before I, get into why I called. But the way you started the show about the flat earth thing, this might make the chat go sideways, but flat earth psyops and internet trolls match in 2 ciphers. And I found that earlier today. So check this out, man. I got something in my feed on YouTube, just a suggested video. And this is trippy, dude. It was a Prince video from way, way back, okay, before Purple Rain and all that, right?
Uh-huh.
So he did a live song called Head, okay? If you type in, you know what, would you mind opening up the Gematriator and just follow along with me so I don't take up too much time? I'll just tell you these things. Like Head. If you look at Head, it's 18, 1890, and 18. If you add that together, 144, that time number, right?
Okay.
So Prince played a song called Head, And what's interesting about it was that it was at the Ritz in New York, and it was on 3/22/1981. And I'm like, damn, just because of that date of that, I'm like, that's kind of curious, you know. Well, this song, you know, Prince, I mean, the guy's wearing high heels, leg warmers, and bikini bottoms, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like, who the hell does that? But so during this song, towards the end, he starts stroking off his guitar. You know what I mean, dude?
Sure.
Like, you know, I can't really say it, but, you know, he's stroking off guitar. And check this out. At the end of the song, he's kind of like, he's on his knees, and he lays back on his back. And he just lays there. And then he, like, jerks like he's going to get up, but he doesn't. And then he kind of does it again, and he does it again. And the drummer, he's going, and then the beat slows down like he dies, okay? Like he dies on stage, right? And check this out. The day of that concert to the day that he died was exactly 421 months, like the day that he died, 421.
Yeah, I would die for you.
420 months earlier. Yeah, dude, I'd send you the link to the video. I don't have a wrench anymore, so I don't think I can.
Here, say something.
I lost it with your old channel.
Can you say something in the chat right now? I'll look for Jason.
I'll just put a bunch of letters.
Yeah, I'll just look for your
go.
thing and give you a wrench when I see it. Yeah. So. I'm waiting for it
Let
to
me
come
know
up.
and I'll hit you with that
Well, if
link.
you already did something, it'll eventually come up. I'm looking for it, but go ahead, Jason. What else is there?
Okay, so let's see here. Let me know when you put the wrench on there and I'll send it. So now, in the Gematrinator here, like I say, head, you add up the 4 ciphers and it's 144. Well, what Rambo was talking about earlier was Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the day that she died, her date numerology, when you multiply it, is 144. And Prince Nelson is 144. Let's see. And then, so earlier I got on your letters and numbers book, and I was going to go look up Prince and stuff, and I stopped on David Crowley. Remember the guy who made that movie, A Gray State?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, right. So I stopped, and I was reading that real quick, and dude, these things like Marjorie Stoneman. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you these words, and you can just quick type them out. I know you're a fast typer, and you can look at these things for yourself. So it was the Dirty Minds tour. So Dirty Minds, that's not real important, but was it Jesuit Order 54? So now Prince Nelson, and then Prince Rogers Nelson, that's 226.
Right.
And then that David Crowley guy, he died 226 days after his birthday on the 93rd meridian. Apple Valley, in single reduction, Apple Valley, Minnesota is 93. And then Aleister Crowley, it's the same last name, conspicuously, whatever, but he had made Selima, right?
Right.
And so when you think about Minneapolis, Minnesota is 93, and Selima is about, 93. And let's see here. If you type in Minneapolis, Minnesota is 93, I already said that. But so there's all these links with the 3 of these people. If you type out 3/22, the day of that concert, that's 68. Aleister Crowley is 68. Let's see. 93 typed out is 62 and 55. Minneapolis is 55 and 62, whereas Prince's hometown. Then the newspaper guy here locally, when Prince changed his name to the symbol, this guy used to call him Symbolina. So type out Symbolina, and then type out Minnesota. It's a match in all 4 ciphers.
Perfect.
Apple Valley, Minnesota is 303, and that's the same as Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's where that David Crowley guy was at when they killed him or whatever, you know. And then, let's see, the Ritz, the night he played that concert, it was at the Ritz, is 83 and 38. 83, like Prince's big, you know, coming out thing, and then Minnesota is 38. Let's see, fentanyl is 38. That's what they say he died from. So now check it out. The word's 421. That was the day that he died, for you, 421. And how many months after that concert was 421? So 421 typed out, and Saturn warship matches in 3 ciphers. Got the 201, 66, and 150. You know, when you sign up for this stuff, the way to the top is 201 and 66. Fastest rise to fame is 201 and 66. Marjorie Stoneman is 201 and 66. Then you got David Crowley, the author, or the filmmaker guy, 60 and 66. And you touched on it in your book. It was 141. I can't remember right off the top right now. Now, a gray state, 117 and 63. But 117, when you measure from his death to the anniversary of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's death, it's 117 days, a span of 117. When you measure from Marjorie Stoneman's death in her anniversary of her death in 2015 is the anniversary, to Prince's death, that's 11 months and 7 days for another 117. And Prince was all big on the number was 7. His death, if you just type that in a calculator, you know, it shows 7s all the way across. And Marjorie Stoneman, the shooting was on 2/1/2/14, the reverse of how you would write Prince's death. So you got 4/21 or 2/14. It's still, you know, it's just basically flip-flopped, the month and the days, 2/14 or 4/21.
Right.
7/7/7, that was the date that Prince had the 3 concerts in Minneapolis. There was one at Macy's, one at Target Center, and one at First Avenue. 7/7/7 shows 21 on there. His place that he lived at in Los Angeles was, 3121 was the address for another 7. So, yeah, there's seriously got to be a link between these people. I mean, all in the Twin Cities. Prince, Marjorie Stoneman, she lived to be 108. Kind of like that Head, that song, you know, 18 and all them ciphers, the 1-8. She lived to be 108, and she's from Minneapolis. That school was named after her down in Florida, where the shooting was, or the fake shooting, whatever.
Right.
So
Jason,
I just cobbled this all together real quick, dude, before the show. But I think there's something there, and now that you know, I'm sure you can run with it, dude. And
I'll look at a lot
blow
more.
Everyone's
But
mind.
Jason, just write like the word Jason in the chat, because your last comment didn't come through, so I can give you a wrench. But the music's about to kick in, so do that. I'll look for your comment, and I'll give you your wrench back. And we'll be right back, everybody.
Okay, I just put it in there.
All right, thanks, Jason.
All right, thanks.
You have a good night, man. Take care.
Yep, all right, bye.
That's it.
You too.
The music's supposed to be going right now, like it's in the section where on my screen it shows, but I don't hear any music. It might be a hair off, but I do see Jason's message in the chat. So, there you go. And there's the music. We'll be right back, everybody.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find us on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER to get $10 off your first box. As a special bonus, we will include our #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. Whatever your diet plans are, start with us at faststartdiet.com and use promo code POWER.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is the final 30 minutes, and there's about 10 people on hold. So if everybody can do that rule of keeping the call to a minute, we will get through everybody. Austin, Texas, you're up first. Austin? Might just be listening tonight. Appreciate you, friend. You have a good rest of your night. Let's go out to Illinois. Illinois, you're on. 618.
Hey, yo. Good stuff, Zach. Hey, good stuff in Seattle there, my boy. We always appreciate you on the ground. I got to get on here on TFR and eat some cold, man, because I was pushing them Lakers just about harder than anybody else. But I know exactly why we got beat, and I'll save that for tomorrow or whenever you do the next Patreon. But a death that we skipped over was, did you hear about Eric Mobley?
I don't know if I covered that.
It was the day he was in Portland at the Motor Center. After I was trying to get it in the chat, the dude who had the phone, I was trying to get it out there. But Eric Mobley, dead at 51. He was drafted to Milwaukee from New York, drafted to Milwaukee. Dead at 51, played 51 games for Milwaukee. He died 121 days after his birthday on 6-2, played 62 games for the Grizzlies. That was his only 2 seasons. So he died on 6-2, played 62 games for the Grizzlies. Dead at 51, played 51 games for Milwaukee. That's 113 total games. The NBA.
113, the 113 League, the NBA, the National Basketball Association, 113, coronavirus pandemic, 113, declared it on March 11th. It was blamed on the only 113 team, the Utah Jazz. Yeah, I see he died at June 2nd, 6-2.
And then we had the 28-year, yes, sir. We had the 28-year cycle, and I was saying, Anthony Davis, because he was 28, and that's his birthday, 3/11. But I overlooked Jordan playing the Suns 28 years ago and beating the Suns, getting his 3rd championship, so that could be Durant. But anyway, 221 days after 11/2, when Erica Weeds died, they had her back in the news. And in the story, it said after 221 days, the search for her killer is still on, and they couldn't find him, and there's no leads or whatever, this and that. But they brought her back up. That was on June 11th, 11/6, just like King Von died on 11/6. And then they updated the story on June 12th, 126. That was WHTHR or something like that. They're out of Indianapolis, and they're the one news feed that always pops up on my Facebook. But I'm banned right now, so I can't share anything like that.
Yeah.
And then today is 25 years to the day of MJ winning his 4th ring. And he said that was for my dad after he won the ring, and that was 121 days after his birthday.
Yeah, blood sacrifice 121. I see that. Mobley dead 121 days after his birthday on the 153rd day of the year. Jesuit Order 153. Again, just same old, same old. Yeah, I'll do a post on that. I didn't realize.
They do the 121. Yeah, that's a great little, a quick detailed murder by numbers you can share with your friends. Because it's pretty undeniable. Talk on 113. Then the next day, the news came out on 6-3. So later on that night, the Lakers ended up going down with 113. But I'm going to get into that on Patreon because I got some gems. It's not gems because we all lost Canes on that one, but I got some of the info. Good night, everybody. And Marco, definitely post what you had earlier because that was great information. And everybody have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate the observation. You take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, Marco always doing great work. Let's go out to Pasadena, 626.
Yo, what's up, Zach? This is the other Marco from BeingJustified.com. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the topic that you have on the video title here. You mentioned, does the Jesuit Order control Israel? So let's get back on topic. I think I'm the only one tonight that is going to try to do that. But as you've already done it with the numbers, I'm just going to do it real quick with the scriptures here, okay? So I can have you guys understand the times that we're living in, okay? So for those that want truth, here's some truth. Now let's go to John. It says here, but they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto him, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar. Now the reason why I said that is today, the Jewish nation of Israel, it's supposed to be a nation, it's really the state of Israel, which is 201, which we know, it's definitely Jesuit controlled. We know that by the numbers, but I do want to prove that from the scripture of truth because the times that we're living in right now is predicted all the way back in Babylon with the prophet Daniel, which talks about all the Gentile world kingdoms. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is just 2 verses. It says, for I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness, keyword, the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Okay, so keep that in mind, and then also look at, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, okay, so when are they fulfilled? It's literally when the Lord comes back, when one Jew will rule the world from Jerusalem with his everlasting kingdom. Until then, Daniel predicted Babylon, Persia, Grecia, Roma, and now we have the revived Roman Empire of iron and clay, which is the Vatican. And all your work, Zach, really sums up into this one verse of Revelation 17:18. The Jesuits run the show. And this says it right here. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, and they do it by her militia, the Jesuit order. Now, it's a mystery of iniquity, though. That's why it's called Mystery Babylon, because it's done in mystery. It's deceiving everybody. They just don't know what the heck they're looking at. But it says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth, which is the devil, will let until he be taken out of the way. And the question should be, when is he taken out of the way? Well, at the coming of the Lord, when he's bound up, put in the bottomless pit, that he could deceive the nations no more. But indeed, I mean, we've seen, like you pointed out recently, with the new 36 government. I mean, you've got all the numbers there, man. I mean, one of the other things I've noticed with Benjamin Netanyahu, I mean, he put in work for the beast, for the Vatican, for the Jesuits. I just think he himself might have some Jewish background, but he's a sellout. And he has some Gematria overlaps with the Jesuit Order. He has a 177 and a 69 when you put in Benjamin Netanyahu. So I just think he's like a secret Jesuit soldier that's working for Rome. That's why he always looks happy when he sees Pope Francis and whatnot. And another thing you should look out for is, like, sometimes you'll see Drudge Report give you some nice Gematria numbers. Like when Bibi was voted out, you know, one of the things that the Drudge Report, which is all totally Jesuit controlled, they put out one of the main headlines that they had at the top of their website was BB out. And that was a 666 in reverse English Sumerian, because like I said, I mean, we're in the last kingdom of iron and clay of the Gentiles. It's the Vatican. They run the show. Iron became iron and clay with the idol that Nebuchadnezzar saw, that Daniel actually interpreted for him. So iron was Rome, as we know. And also there's an overlap with the Praetorian Guard, because it all goes back to Rome. So the Praetorian Guard actually was the actual bodyguards for the Caesars, obviously killed some of the Caesars as well, which happens today. The Jesuits killed some of the popes. Let's not forget John Paul I, which died, I think, 33 days later after he came into office. So the Jesuits are still killing popes. They don't care who the hell they kill. If you don't play along with their game, they'll kill your ass too. So it doesn't matter if you're a pope either. So they're doing the same thing. It's the kingdom of iron and clay, which is, like I said, it's the final kingdom, because then the Lord's coming back. And as predicted in Daniel, a stone was cut out without hands. And that's the virgin birth. There was no man that had to do nothing with it. It's the spirit birth. It's the Lord that's coming back in flaming fire. And that hits the whole freaking image that Nebuchadnezzar saw. And then it grows into a huge mountain that's never ending. So his kingdom's coming, but we're going to have to go through the kingdom of the beast first. And I got my eyes on MBS of Saudi Arabia. And I also found out recently, Mecca, Saudi Arabia equals 666 in Sumerian. So the freaking place that all the freaking Muslims worship every day and pray to every day. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. But I think the beast is going to be Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the final prophet, or the false prophet, I should say, is the final pope. And it's looking to be the first Jesuit pope, which is Pope Francis. The big one for me is His Holiness Pope Francis. I think in reverse, Francis Bacon, Gematria, is 666, which the Vatican likes to use for his official title. And then also he was freaking consecrated a priest to the Mystery Babylon system 666 months after his birth. So keep an eye on those two, man. It's a dynamic duo. It's the satanic trinity of the dragon, the false prophet, and the beast in the final days. But that's all I got.
Appreciate it, Marco. And just a reminder, the 33-day Pope went to bed September 27th, the day the Jesuits were recognized by Roman history, and he never woke up again. So, good reminder.
Yeah, they're the new Praetorian Guard, basically, from the old ancient Roman system. Now, obviously, they go from the Praetorian Guard to the Knights Templar to the Jesuit Order at this point, the high apex of Satan's ministers. And the Bible says Satan's kingdom is not divided. He has a very specific hierarchy, and he runs it. Because you look at Arturo Sosa, you can't fathom that. Arturo Sosa, he looks like my uncle. You think he really runs the show? No, it's Satan, his prince devils. They give him the commands, and he runs it.
Very possible. I appreciate it always, Marco. You're well researched. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you have a good night. Yeah, Marco believes strongly. He offends a lot of people in the community, but you got to give it to him. He is motivated. He sticks around. He does good research. It's just online he doesn't have really any tolerance for anyone who's not Christian, but I know he still means well. All right, let's go out to the good friend in New York. How are you this evening?
How you doing, man?
Doing well. You're staying up late for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I always do, you know what I'm saying? I always do, always listening, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm getting a lot of feedback from them guys who the Lakers is out. Everybody keeps saying, man, the guy you listen to whatever numbers and all that, that is crap. I say, okay. I say, one time, 99 times you win, and one time you lose, and everybody crucify you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's how people are, though. That's how
don't say
people are.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say, okay, yeah, then everybody, who's going to win now? Who's going to win? Since you guys so
It's like
good,
people
tell
are
me who's
still
gonna
leaving
win.
comments about the Lakers. It's like, well, another future just came in for us. Djokovic just won the French Open. He wasn't supposed to do that. We thought he would. Just more Gematria knowledge. And people shouldn't forget, the Suns are in the Western Conference Finals, which no one had, but we predicted that before the season began. We just thought it'd be against the Lakers. So that part's wrong, but we knew Phoenix was going to have a good year, and they certainly did.
Yeah. Everybody keep asking, who's going to win now? Who's going to win? I say, we don't do the research on it yet. So when it does the research, I tell you what's going on.
Indeed.
They keep saying, oh, that's bull.
Yeah. They're looking for a reason. But they should all know better at this point. We called way too many things. Show me anyone else in the world who's called more correct in the time we've been doing this. I'm pretty sure that there's nobody on that list, so... Anyway.
Yeah, because I told him, I said, it's the only time I miss one time, and you're going to crucify me for missing one time? Come on.
Exactly. People are ridiculous. That's how it is, though. That's how people are. So, I mean, it's just a reminder of how a lot of people are. Not all people, but a lot of people.
Yeah. They're so fixated on this. Can't be scripted. And I say, okay.
Indeed.
You know?
Indeed.
So,
yeah, go back and show them what they did with the Knicks. You're in New York. Here, for all your fans with the Knicks, again, the night that the Knicks won their only game in the playoffs, it was so easy. We knew it was all about Julius Randle. His name equaled 146. It was the 146th day of the year. The Knicks got their 187th postseason win, 187 days from his birthday. And then the other thing we pointed out is Society of Jesus is 187 and Jesus Christ is 146. What are the odds that it lines up this way? And that was the only game the Knicks won in the playoffs. And by the way, that was 67 days after Spike Lee's birthday, and Knicks is 67. 69 days after his birthday, Atlanta equals 69. They won, and then they won the rest of the games. So, it's all script.
I explained all of that to them, and they said, Knicks won't go far, so Knicks ain't going to win one game.
Yeah, they just want to be haters, man. It's just like, I just can't, I don't even have time for people like that anymore. It's just like, whatever, man, you don't even deserve to know. Keep watching the games and thinking it's real. So.
Yeah, even the Atlanta game tonight. I say, come on, man. You don't see that? Atlanta down 22 points and come back and win the game. Come on, man.
The game was on the under. We thought that game would be on the under. We thought that game would be on the under. It did hit the under, so that was definitely in the script, the underside of the score. But again, Philadelphia gives up 2 monster leads, 2 games in a row. I mean, what a joke. They're much bigger. For anyone who hasn't watched the NBA Philadelphia-Atlanta series, Philadelphia is a team of very talented giants. They're so much bigger than Atlanta. And anybody who knows anything about basketball is a game of size. This huge dominant team who's the 1 seed keeps giving up these huge leads. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it becomes a joke, man.
It is a joke. And you know what's funny? If you watched my Patreon, the live stream from the last game before Atlanta came back, I showed the ritual with Trae Young, it being 97 days from his birthday, the 25th prime, on a 25-date numerology. He ended up scoring 25 points, but what I said before the game is I said, the last time I saw an Atlanta 97-25 ritual like this was the Super Bowl where Atlanta gave up the huge lead to Tom Brady, 25 points on 2/5. When Falcons is 25, well then lo and behold in the same game, Atlanta has a huge comeback on Philly, and now they do it again against Philly. It's just such a joke, man. So, anyway.
Yeah, it becomes a real joke, man.
Yeah, indeed.
And you know, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I keep tuning in, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I appreciate you. Yeah. You have a good rest of your night.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's frustrating because you're trying to share with people this knowledge, and you know it could be helpful to them, but they just keep rejecting it. It's just like the scene in the movie They Live, where Roddy Piper, he gets these glasses and he can see through all this stuff around him, and then he's having so much trouble getting anybody else to look at the glasses. They're all treating him like he's crazy. All right, let's go out to New York as well, 646. Hello?
Am I on?
You're on, yeah. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing, brother, man? It's good to speak to you, man. God bless you. Thank you for all the work that you do, man. You like the Duracell battery. You never stop going, know what I'm saying? And I hope everybody in the community appreciates you, man, as much as I do, brother.
Well,
but anyway,
thank you.
I have a number that's very significant, and it's the number is 126. Do you know anything about the number 126?
What's funny is if you went back to my earliest work in 2013, 14, I was saying there's something to this 126, and my theory was the verse in the Bible, because mankind is made in Genesis 1:26, and God is 26, and Adam's 26, and like we have a 26-letter alphabet, and Kabbalah says God made the world with letters, numbers, and words, and letters 26. So I think it really has a lot to do with that verse 126, and then in light of the whole Jesuit thing, the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo, and the Templars have a motto that in Gematria equals 701, which is the 126th prime number. And the first superior general of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, when he died, he was replaced 701 days later by Diego Lainez, which again is the 126th prime. And you just look at names like John Carroll. Right. John Carroll established the first Jesuit university. His name is 126. The superior general who died last year of the Jesuits, Adolfo Nicolas, his name's 126. We know about how Kobe died on 126 while traveling from Catholic Mass. But I think it's the Jesuits like this 126, and still my take on where the number comes from is Genesis 126, where mankind's made in the Bible. So I don't know for sure, but that's my theory.
Can I give you some more 126?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm gonna give you a couple more. All right. Earlier, the good brother Rambo was talking about Mount Sinai. Earlier in the show, he was talking about Mount Sinai.
Right.
And if you type in Mount Sinai, Beth Israel, it's a hospital in New York City, in Manhattan. Mount Sinai, Beth Israel. That equals 126.
Okay.
And the significance is Sinai and Heart has 3 out of the same numbers in the ciphers, right? And a few years back, I was in Mount Sinai, Beth Israel, and I almost lost my life because my heart stopped beating. And when he brought that up, that just automatically came into my mind, that memory, because I was in Mount Sinai, Beth Israel, and my heart stopped beating, and he was talking about Sinai and the heart, and I was like, whoa, this is too much. Now, the other connection to 126, I have an older sister. She's born in 1971. Her birthday is January 26th.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Let me give you another one. Let me give you another 126. I grew up in Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York, Coney Island. If you know anything about Coney Island, there's a lot of famous basketball players that made it to the NBA. And one of them was Sebastian Telfair.
Yeah.
And he was drafted by the Portland Trailblazers. And Portland Trailblazers equals 126 in the same cipher as Mount Sinai, Beth Israel.
And remember, with regards to that, they were used in the Remembering Kobe Bryant game after his death against the Lakers. We've been talking about that. The Blazers do like that number 126.
And they also equal 90, just like Mount Sinai, Beth Israel. So they got the 126 and they got the 90, and they also have Portland Trailblazers equals 243, Mount Sinai, Beth Israel equals 234. And all these numbers, the numerology is 9999. And my first name, when you put my first name, into the Gematria, the numerology is 9999. And I just turned 36 years old this year, and Sebastian Telfair, he just turned 36 years old this year. He's born in 1985. I'm born in 1985. Basketball equals 85. He went to the NBA and played professional. He actually retired professional basketball in 2017. I was 32 years old. 32. I grew up on 32nd Street, and so did he.
Huh. Now I got a question.
He grew up on 32nd Street and Mermaid houses, and I grew up on 32nd Street and Coney Island houses.
I got a question. Was he really well known in the area for basketball? Because being from Portland, when they drafted him as their top
yes. Since he was a young kid, because his older cousin is Stephon Marbury.
Ah, that's right. He has the Marbury connection. Because when this guy was drafted, he just was not that good, and he was so young. And I was like, how's this guy go as this high in the draft? And I mean, he never lived anywhere near up to the height, but he never seemed like he had a chance.
Let me tell you what number he got drafted. He got drafted in the first round and the 13th pick. And I believe the National Basketball Association equals 113, right?
That's correct. Just like Kobe winning that spot, too.
And, all right, now watch this. I'm born on a date numerology of 113 and 22. And I'm born in 85. All these basketball references so close to me. And I grew up around a whole bunch of guys that went to the professional, Stephon Marbury, he went pro, Sebastian Telfair, Lance Stevenson, we all grew up in the same area. We all went to the same high school, Abraham Lincoln High School, right there in Brooklyn by Coney Island. We all went to the same high school. Stephon Marbury, he was older than us. He went in the 90s, and
was he considered the best player? Was he
90s.
considered the best player in your area at the time?
Who?
Telfair.
Telfair, yeah, he was the man, bro.
Okay, I never got to
the
see him
man,
play in high
bro.
school, but he didn't seem like he was ready for the NBA stage anywhere near. It's like, why did he get drafted so high?
No. You absolutely right. He was not ready for the NBA. I was one of the only people in the neighborhood saying I think he should go to college and get more seasoned. You know, like. Because there's something about the college basketball that makes you more prepared for the pros. That's what I think personally.
Your body's developing.
1 or 2 years.
Your body's developing.
In college.
Yeah, you're getting bigger.
Yeah, your body develop more. You get more connections and all that stuff. Everything. You go to school. You play on a collegiate level, and then you go to the pros. And he wasn't one of those guys that was like 6'7", 6'8", that was ready to go straight to the pros. He was only a 6-foot guy. He the same height as me. Me and him is the same height.
Right. Yeah. All
me
right.
and him is the same height. And it's so crazy how all these things connect because his birthday is June 9th. You know, it's 6'9".
Yeah.
And he just recently turned 36 years old, and I turned 36 back in February. My birthday is on the 38th day of the year.
February 7th.
And yeah, I see. In my neighborhood, a lot of guys that I grew up with was gunned down.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's the end of the show, you guys. We'll be back next week. Thank you. Have a good night. All right, that is the end of the show. And again, I cannot control the commercials or the music. It's just all-time TFRlive.com is where it's just broadcasting as a radio broadcast. But again, we're also just doing the stream on YouTube. And yeah, I think that was a good amount for today. If you've noticed, I haven't been posting as much on my regular YouTube channel. I've been posting a lot more on Patreon. It's interesting how doing this research, there's different groups of people here who are for different reasons, and there's some people who are interested in all of them. But one of the cooler things about this community is the sports community, because a lot of them are working together and setting up their own ways of communicating and linking up and checking notes with each other and decoding together. So a lot of you guys don't like the decoding of sports. And I get all your gripes and arguments, but again, my whole purpose when I started this was just to get people interested in this work and to show how diverse it is and how it proves how the sports and the elections and the news stories, how they're all synced up, which we've proven countless times. And we don't need to prove it anymore. And like some dummy who's waiting for me to be wrong about something after having to wait like a year and a half for that to happen now thinks that they're proven right because I got one little thing wrong. It's like, dude, you're a joke. I mean, like anybody who thinks like that is just a joke. And then it's like, okay, I'm not going to waste any more time with you. And why are you still here if you think it's all BS? Why are you still spamming after everything trying to make... So again, you just have to realize a lot of people don't make sense. Don't waste your time with these people who don't make sense. They're just going to take away your energy and, again, just annoy you because you're like trying to deal with their level of stupidity. And, if somebody nails something, a ton of times in a row and does it consistently for years as we have... and connects dots like they've never been connected before and shows specific patterns in the same redundant numbers, and then, then the calculation for a projection is just a hair off, and they think that proves that all this other work and, correct body of science, correct hypothesis, correct conclusion, all of this stuff, if they think all of that, all of a sudden that's just proven, that's just pure idiocy. So, again, the sad thing is we live in a world of idiots. There are a lot of people this way. But don't let that steal your time and energy. And with that said, I think we'll call it a night. Thanks for staying up on the East Coast. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time.